And I think that does favor Wildcard. But at the same time, Method Black has been their kryptonite the entire year. And you heard them in the interviews. They're hungry for this win.
I mean, definitely, we're going to see both of these teams wanting that win very bad. But Pika, do you think when you look at it, we've joked around a little bit about the idea of there being kind of a curse over Method Black when it comes to lands. It's something that they just haven't been able to shake. Do you think that that's in their mind right now when they get to the grand final?
I would really hope it's not. I hope they're not back there thinking, man, we have thrown the last two biggest lands of the year. I think we're going to do it again right now. I hope they're not thinking that, because usually when you think it becomes reality, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it can be a situation where you throw yourself into a place where you're your own worst enemy. But one thing we know for certain is both of these teams had some worst enemies. If you look at Cloud9, Wildcard Gaming's their worst enemy. If you look at Wildcard Gaming, it is going to be Method Black who is their worst enemy. And now the stage is set. It is an EU versus EU grand final.
BlizzCon 2019 is brought to you by T-Mobile. Their newest signal goes farther than ever, and it's built 5G ready. MSI, True Gaming. Intel, the official CPU partner of BlizzCon. Cisco, the official networking partner of BlizzCon. And by HyperX. We're all gamers.
Last year, when I stood up on this stage, it was an all North American affair, and EU has something to say about that this year. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to start the grand final of BlizzCon 2019? Now it's time to welcome our first team onto the stage. This is a team that has already created some upsets. They have definitely been an X factor throughout this entire year. One thing that you definitely can say about them as well is throughout the year, they have just started to look stronger and stronger. They just took down Cloud9. They are going to be hot taking the stage right now. Make some noise for Wildcard Gaming. Now, when you talk about dominant teams in World of Warcraft history, I don't think there are many teams that even come close in the conversation to the team I am about to introduce. But they have missed one thing thus far, and that is a championship from BlizzCon. Ladies and gentlemen, they're going to try to change it right now. Make some noise for Method Black. The stage is now set, and it's about time to get this started, folks. The grand final of BlizzCon 2019 starts now. Ladies and gentlemen, Method Black's gonna be... Folks, are you ready for the grand final? Method Black has been so close so many times. They managed to get here nice and early today. They've been waiting in the grand final. But Wildcard Gaming is looking so gosh darn scary. Zico, before we head into this one, what do you think this series is going to look like? What compositions do you think we're going to see?
I mean, your guess is as good as mine, but I got a little feeling we're going to see Mario on that Fire Mage. Maybe we'll see Zeepai tagged in on that DK Windwalker later on. But I think for Method Black, we're going to see Waz on the Rogue, we're going to see Raikou on the Frost Mage, and we're going to see Chaz on that Restoration Druid.
I think that is one of the things that... how good do you think it would actually feel for them if they managed to get the BlizzCon win and they go back home to their Rogue Mage composition, the thing that they really were known for, but the thing that they had to deviate from so many times to be able to even make it up to this stage?
I mean, for Method Black, like you said, this is a team that's been running this composition for a really long time, so it's got to feel good having all those reps under your belt. And I think in this grand finals, Wildcard Gaming, they're afraid of that Rogue Mage Druid, so we'll have to see if Method Black is up for the task. One thing's for sure, Wildcard Gaming, they have a lot of momentum on their side. They've been playing game after game today. Method Black, they've been cooling down a little bit, and we'll have to see how they can perform.
And I think the other thing that you kind of start to ask questions about is whether or not the grand final is something that is a roadblock in their mind. And we're going to check in right now on the floor to see if I heard anything about that.
Hey, you guys, I was watching that last series with Method Black backstage, and after Wildcard took that victory, Looney walked up to Waz and said, "I did it for you." And Rich, I could not think of two more deserving teams for this grand finals.
I definitely will agree with you there. These are two very deserving teams. I think when you look at what Method Black has been able to do throughout this entire year, the amount of points that they've been able to grab to ensure their place to be on this BlizzCon stage, it's kind of surprising that we haven't seen them win a LAN yet, and that's why we keep bringing that up.
Almost every EU Cup final was Method Black against Wildcard Gaming. These teams have been rivals basically for years. I mean, Maro has been a new substitute for Walrix on this roster, formerly XRB, but they have been at each other's throats for years at this point. They're both looking for their first titles here on some of their players who have been here multiple times. I can tell that Blizzo is just absolutely dying to get that. If he can get it on that Arms Warrior, that class that he is just so known for, I mean, it's going to be the world for him. Then, of course, Waz, Raikou, and Chaz have been gunning for this BlizzCon title for some time. They've been battling the entire year against each other. I can't believe that Wildcard Gaming just took Cloud9 out. 2 times in this tournament. Cloud9 were undefeated in the LAN season, and Wildcard Gaming do it with Mistweaver, Arms Warrior, Fire Mage. I mean, there is potential for that composition if they can create chaos.
Absolutely. I mean, I was one of the people who said there's no way if Wildcard and Cloud9 face again that Cloud9 won't be the one that comes out ahead. But here we are in the final with Wildcard Gaming there taking out Cloud9. But the other thing that we haven't mentioned is on Method Black, if Swapsy wins here today, that is his 3rd BlizzCon win.
Yeah, I mean, it really is impressive. There's such an all-star roster. I mean, just talking about the history of these 2 teams, Wildcard Gaming has really been struggling against Method Black essentially the entire year. That Rogue Mage Druid has been very difficult for them, but they did come up with that sort of oddball composition, the Mistweaver, Arms Warrior, Fire Mage, and they've been playing it in this tournament to great success, and we'll have to see. I mean, Method Black really is the final test for them. If they can take down Method Black, I mean, I really can't think of a more deserving team.
Yeah, I mean, it is one of those things where there were so many points where it seemed like maybe they were going to catch up during the season. Maybe we were going to see them take one cup, and you could see them getting closer, but it just didn't really get to the point where they were ever able to make a tip. They were never able to hit that tipping point, and you know, all of that can be forgotten relatively quickly if you're able to take down a BlizzCon victory. Now, we're going to get this one started very shortly with Wildcard Gaming and Method Black. We've already said momentum potentially in the favor of Wildcard Gaming. Method Black secured their spot nice and early against Wildcard Gaming in the day in that upper final before we even got here. Talk about Swapsy, though, and everything that he's been able to do. He's one of the most winningest players in World of Warcraft history, and the question is he going to be able to take that title outright and be the person who has won the most BlizzCons? He's got a little way to go to be able to do that.
I mean, Waz, from Method Black, I mean, he's been one of those players that's been at BlizzCon many times, but he's actually never made it to the grand finals, always getting 3rd place. And he was talking to me, he said that's kind of his curse, and now that he's broken through that curse, he's being very confident that they can actually win. I was backstage with him, he had his hood up, he had his music in, he was throwing air punches. He's really ready for this match, and he's excited to play.
I mean, if that was where the roadblock was in his mind, that is such a good sign for Method Black, right? And I don't know if you're superstitious at all. It kind of does seem like a Method event thus far. Yesterday we had our MDI, and it was Method EU who was able to take it down. And it was funny, they kind of had a similar problem to Method Black when you actually looked at everything they've gone through this year. They were having problems at LAN. They were the most consistent team, but they just couldn't break that little bit of a curse, and all of a sudden they come to BlizzCon, they're able to do it. Will Method Black follow suit there with their sister team?
It feels so crazy that we're here. We're at the final moment here on the WoW stage at BlizzCon. One more series to decide the champion for an entire year's efforts, an entire year's efforts of hard work, blood, sweat, and tears put into this. This means absolutely everything for these teams.
Man, it was a crazy year too, right? I mean, you look at the amount of WoW that was actually played to get here, but I feel like week 3, we knew that Method Black was going to be in the event. It was so early that we knew that this team was going to be here. They just, from the very beginning of the year, they just never let go.
Yeah, I mean, during the cup portion of the qualification process, they literally made it to the grand finals of every single cup in Europe. They either got first, mostly first, and sometimes second, but it just shows how consistent this roster has been. I mean, it really is an all-star roster, phenomenal players. You bring on Swapsy to help out Chaz, Raikou, and Waz. I mean, that is basically the best 4th you could ever pick up, and it's really rounded out the roster, and maybe we'll see him in this grand finals.
Do you think that there is a big chance that we do see him in these grand finals, Eco?
We could easily see Swapsy tagged in, potentially on that Warlock, and they could just go with that Mage Lock Druid, and they can easily kind of throw a curveball there to Wildcard Gaming if they decide to go for that play. But I'm excited to see the healers here because I have been gassing both of these guys up the entire year, and now we finally get to see Looney versus Chaz on the big stage. Both of these guys, the best druids, insane multi-classers, and now they're here in the finals. Make some noise.
Yeah, it is time to go to Nagaran Arena. It's going to be our blind pick. We're going to kick it off. Method Black versus Wildcard Gaming, and finally, we're going to get to see the compositions which are going to be used in this first game.
Now, I heard backstage that Method Black gave Wildcard Gaming practice into the Rogue Mage Druid composition, and that practice that they gave them to be able to defeat Cloud9 could backfire, because if Wildcard Gaming can surpass Method Black's Rogue Mage Druid, they will have almost no answer for Wildcard Gaming. Method Black immediately attacking Looney, trying to pressure down the healer. Desperate first assault, maybe just trying to feel the water out and try and bait some cooldowns, but they're not finding anything initially.
Yeah, Wildcard Gaming nice and warmed up in a matchup like this. They just bested Cloud9 in a best of 5. Now for Method Black, we'll have to see what they can get done. Are they going to be able to find victory? Full Ring of Frost on Chaz. They're getting really aggressive, but unfortunately, Raikou not taking too much damage. He does have the Temporal Shield. Blizzo leaps over. Are they going to be able to take him down? This could easily be an ice block. Paralysis lands over onto Chaz. He manages to deflect with the Iron Bark, and it looks like Method Black will be able to stabilize.
Blizzo gunning for that ice block. Counterspell on now on Chaz. Iron Bark's defense is faded, and Blizzo pushes forward. Ice barrier going to soak some hits here. Chaz trying to make it back, stabilize. Blizzo polymorphed around the corner, unable to be dispelled. Looney pushes forward to get it, playing very aggressive and in the face of Method Black. Chaz looks to jump over and initiate crowd control. Looney is cycloned and unable to heal. Morrow is in trouble, dipping dangerously low. This could be cauterized ice block if he's not careful. Looney catches the life cocoon immediately out of the cyclone, but they're shredding through it. Now cycloning Morrow low on health. Continuing the chain onto Looney further. Blizzo pummels it, breaks the chain. Kidney shot not going to be too devastating here. Good recovery by Looney.
Yeah, Raikou just playing very far away from Looney. He's not pushing into Looney to look for the polymorphs. Instead, he's dragging Blizzo out of line of sight, trying to get him caught in crowd control, the Frost Novas, as well as the polymorphs. This is an interesting strategy for Method Black. Instead of going for crowd control, they're just trying to bait Looney in the open, which makes it a lot easier for Chaz to really set Raikou up. And if they can get those consistent setups, that's when Morrow's really going to be in trouble.
All right, let's see what they can get done here. Mana, even at this point in time, 2 minutes in, best of 7 grand finals on the Grand Arena. Looney pushing forward, looking like maybe he wants to roll in for crowd control. Rolling into center field, Chaz is feared up into a full polymer. Beautiful coordination between Blizzo and Morrow. That is now isolating Raikou. He is avoiding the damage, though, quite effectively with Waz's support. However, having to use blind on the Warrior means that Looney now no longer has to worry about that crowd control as a threat, which means Wildcard Gaming can push down on that gas pedal and go.
Yeah, one greater Power Blast lands. They need to be careful. Morrow, with that ability on the Fire Mage, is going to be able to put out a lot of damage. There's a Stormbolt on Chaz. Is there any follow-up? Paralysis comes in from Looney. Raikou on the run, but in the meantime, Morrow also taking a little bit of damage. Both these mages could potentially have to use an Ice Block. Morrow, unfortunately, getting line of sighted by Raikou with that greater Power Blast. He's going to be able to avoid that damage. And now Method Black, they're looking for another setup, but Blizzo completely denies it with the War Banner.
That was sick play by Blizzo. War Banner reduced the crowd control of 3 abilities, but it didn't even matter. Morrow's dangerously low. Looney barely getting Life Cocoon in time to stabilize them. Raikou now on the back foot. Temporal Shield, how much healing? Bouncing back almost to full. Now we see Chaz out in center field, shadow melding a Stormbolt. Well done by Chaz, avoiding some powerful crowd control. Now getting some of his own over on Morrow. Raikou is still struggling. Blizzo is tearing him apart. You can tell that Blizzo wants this, repping a composition that is so peculiar, really, in terms of the meta. Have we finally found the answer to the Rogue Mage Druid?
Yeah, Wildcard Gaming, I mean, I don't even know if it's a setup necessarily. These guys are all just playing at such a high level right now. Morrow, Blizzo, Looney all on fire. But Method Black, they do manage to recover, and we basically have a reset of hit points at this point in the game. We got about 1 minute and 20 seconds before dampening is elapsed, and we'll have to see Morrow now into a Cyclone. Chaz really just trying to control up the game as Looney pushes forward. Kidney shot onto Morrow, big damage. This could easily be the cauterize. Looney has to get out of the polymorph. Are they going to be able to break up the crowd control chain? They do manage to do so. Looney still holding on to that life cocoon, able to easily top up Morrow.
Greater Pyroblast being casted by Morrow. Raikou going to line of sight it, but Chaz is counterspelled. Blizzo's coming out of polymorphs. He's going to be chopping Raikou up pretty quick here. Meteor comes crashing in. Chaz Iron Barks stabilizing Raikou for now. Chaz desperately looking for Cyclones to stall out the damage and buy time to heal, but he is expending a tremendously larger amount of mana than that of Looney, and potentially Wildcard Gaming have a win condition off of that if they can prevent him from drinking. Looney, he's moving in. He secures the leg sweep, stunning up Raikou and allowing his team to go to town.
Yeah, big damage over onto Raikou, but it looks like he will be able to survive. And now it's an interrupt on Morrow with a full blind on Looney. Method Black, they want to try to get that ice block. Can they do so? War Banner drops down. Blizzo denying the zap once again. Blizzo with beautiful plays to keep his team in the fight, but Morrow still barely holding on. That is going to be the life cocoon trading out for Wildcard Gaming. That was a nice setup by Method Black, but Blizzo with beautiful defensive plays shuts it down.
Raikou on 10%! Ice block available, pressing it at very low health. If I'm terrified, I can only imagine what's going through Chaz's mind at this moment in time, but Ice block lead now for Wildcard Gaming. Mana advantage moving into dampening, and where was this Wildcard Gaming all year? They're playing this composition out of their minds. Absolutely absolutely owning right now in game one.
Yeah, they're rising to the occasion. Raikou getting topped off. Chaz still struggling with his mana. Like you said, Sid, it could easily come down to a mana game in this matchup.
That could be
Way
it.
ahead. Full fear on Chaz. Raikou, he has the Cold Snap Ice Barrier. That might be enough to keep him alive, but he's forced into his second Ice Block. This is a big lead for Wildcard Gaming.
I think Method Black are regretting giving Wildcard Gaming so much practice. This composition is tearing in. They have every single advantage at this point in time. Raikou is stunned up. Big damage coming in from Blizzo. Jazz and a Polymorph put on diminishing return. Looney now finally caught in crowd control by Raikou. Maro needs to be careful. He's going to activate Temporal Shield. He's absorbing all of these hits and going to heal it back, but not too much, unfortunately. Life Cocoon from Looney stabilizing him. Raikou's the one who's in trouble. He's desperate. He's spamming out Polymorphs. He's trying to slow down the game for Chaz to recover. We may see a swap to Waz as well. Chaz is interrupted. This could be the end of game one if they aren't careful. Paralysis to follow up. Looney's in position. No leg sweep available, unfortunately. Stormbolt is, though. Blizzo with the hard carry in game one if he's able to finish this. Dragon's Breath for 1 second, but 1 second may just be exactly what they need. Raikou holds on by a thread at 1% once again. Wildcard Gaming in the driver's seat.
Complete panic mode for Method Black, but Raikou does manage to hold on, and now they're getting aggressive. Full kidney shot on Looney. Can they take him down? Do they have the damage? Raikou wasn't exactly in position to get out optimal damage there, so Looney with the Transcendence will be able to portal behind the pillar and keep himself alive, but now, once again, it's Wildcard Gaming looking to get aggressive on Raikou.
Huge hit onto Raikou, even through the Iron Bark. Maro's greater Pyroblasts are devastating, looking for another here. Is Waz going to disrupt it? Maro blinks in. Raikou line of sights. Blizzo continuing to march forward. Chaz is crowd controlled. Do they have further crowd control? They need a Stormbolt at this moment in time. If they want to push for the kill, doesn't look like they have it, unfortunately. Now Looney's in a Polymorph. Blizzo gets a double fear disarm combo. Blizzo has shut down after shutdown after shutdown in this matchup against Method Black. He is a one-man warrior army on a mission.
Yeah, and he's been doing a great job so far. Raikou does get topped off. He has Icy Veins rolling, but there's just not too much damage. Chaz goes for a Cyclone onto Maro. They need to get some crowd control onto Looney. It is the Life Cocoon. Full kidney shot lands, but Maro should be completely fine in this situation. The only way he goes down here is if they get the crowd control they need onto Looney. Interrupt on Chaz. Nicely done by Maro. Big damage from Wildcard Gaming. Raikou, can he hold on? He's trying to line of sight. Looney pushes in. Beautiful leg sweep into Ring of Peace. Now Raikou, he's still on the run. He's holding on to 10% health. Paralysis on Chaz. Wildcard Gaming, they extend the crowd control chain, but it looks like Raikou will manage to hold on.
It's going to cost Chaz a ton of mana, of which he has basically none remaining. Another counterspell. Maro with perfect offense. Blizzo gets blinded, but Maro doesn't need his help. Maro closes it out in game one.
This is one of the reasons I keep hyping him up as one of the best mages in the world. But then you look at this entire team, you look at how they play, and it feels like you could put them on any composition right now. It just doesn't even matter. They're just the best players in the world at what they're doing. All of them firing on all cylinders. Wildcard Gaming looks like one of the biggest threats to Method Black's dream to win a BlizzCon that I have ever seen.
Yeah, and we can talk about comps until we're blue in the face, but matter of fact is, when you're playing Fire Mage Warrior as good as Maro and as good as Blizzo, and you're playing Monk as good as Looney, it doesn't matter what comp you're playing, it doesn't matter who you're playing against. You can just come out ahead like this. You can see Raikou on the ropes, no ice blocks available, and honestly, quite lucky to be able to survive at this point in time. He gets that Gladiator Safeguard back of cooldown right there. Otherwise, he would have just gone down. And here, once again, Method Black trying to be aggressive, trying to get something going here. And as soon as they do, Maro with the counterspell, with the combustion, doing unbelievable damage. Even the blind defensively on Blizzo, not gonna be enough. And you can tell Maro, he is not kidding around here.
Yeah, and I think it goes to, you list all of the specs that they are playing, and it's like, wait, yeah, this is kind of what we know them for, right? I mean, with Looney, you can throw him on pretty much anything, and he's going to be able to look fantastic, but we keep talking about Blizzo on the Warrior, and then you see it. We keep talking about Maro as one of the best mages, and then you see it. Yes, the composition has a serious amount of potential, but this just all comes down to how well they're playing their mains.
And that's the thing about this roster. I mean, sometimes they don't look the best, but when they're well practiced and they're prepared, like we see them here today, they just look like an unstoppable team. Maro on that Fire Mage, Looney on the Mistweaver Monk, something you don't normally see too often. Really, Looney, I think, is one of the few players we have seen make Mistweaver work this year in AWC, so really phenomenal job by him. And then, of course, Blizz on the Warrior, and it certainly helps to have Zeepai backing up your roster. But just like you said, they're playing this composition at such a high level. It really is impressive to watch.
Yeah, and not just that. I mean, you can talk about Looney on the Monk, but Mario is also the only person right now playing Fire Mage really at this level, and I actually talked to Mario about it after their previous series, right before they went up against Cloud9, and I said, hey man, like, what's going on? Why are you playing Fire Mage? And you said, I think it's busted. I think it's really good. I think everybody should be playing Fire Mage in every single spec of Mage. He even said, Arcane is really good in some situations. So that's one of the things as well. These players, they can multi-class, but they can also play their own specs at just such a high level, every single one of them.
Well, Sid, I think this is one of my favorite things about this grand final right now. Very quickly, it is becoming a grand final that is all about mains going against mains. Like, everybody is playing what they are known for on the main stage right now, and that doesn't happen in every single final that we see throughout the year, but it's happening here at BlizzCon.
I feel like the biggest criticism we've given Wildcard Gaming in the past, maybe more so when Walrix was on the roster, was that they were the best defense team in the game, period. But when it came to offense and pushing forward to close out the match, that's where they fell a little bit short. In that game number 1, that was perfect offense, perfect defense, and you need both ends of that spectrum if you are going to be a BlizzCon champion. If they can keep up what they just did in game 1, I mean, I would be shaking right now if I was Method Black.
Yeah, I think one of the things that you would always say with Wildcard Gaming was that, yeah, we knew that they were the team that could make it to 80 million% dampening if they wanted to. They wouldn't make any mistakes, and a lot of that's going to be on just perfect synergy throughout the team. You have a healer like Looney who can create space. He's going to have perfect rotation of everything. He's also going to have the foresight of when those panic situations are coming in to rotate cooldowns, but then you go a step further and you look at players like Blizzo. He's going to be able to peel pretty much every single situation. He's going to be able to stop goes. The team, it made sense that they would have these defensive plays. But then I think the second that we actually saw them on that Windwalker DK today, and you start talking about the style that they're actually employing, and it didn't look like that defensive style that we saw with them on that composition throughout the year. It didn't seem like they were just trying to play for dampening and ultimately making a team fall over. It seemed like a fusion between that style and what we saw from teams like Method NA.
Well, I think the thing for Wildcard Gaming is quite often we know them to be that team that kind of draws out the game, like you were saying, but we actually asked Looney about that, and he said, well, that's not because that's only what we're good at. That's just how we can win certain matchups. I think they can play both play styles at a really high level. I mean, they're really showcasing it here today. When they can play aggressive, and that is their win condition, they can easily do it. And I mean, in game number 1, it just felt like they were completely in the driver's seat. Method Black was on the back foot, and I feel like Method Black, they're going to have to try to figure something else out because, I mean, we just saw Cloud9 lose to Wildcard Gaming in this exact matchup, and unless Method Black can play way better than Cloud9 or come up with a better strategy, it could be looking like Wildcard Gaming could be our next BlizzCon champion.
Yeah, I mean, what does Method Black do here? We talk about mains, they're on theirs as well. Do you think that they need to make a change here, Zico?
Well, that's the thing I'm scared of. I think if I'm Method Black, I stay with the Rogue Mage Druid and I play it out. I try to play as good as possible. I try to polish up those small mistakes, try to force a little bit more cooldowns when we're going aggressive. But on the flip side, they do have a lot of comp options. I don't want to see the Mage Warlock Druid at all in this series, to be honest with you, unless Wildcard Gaming goes over to a completely different comp in the blind. And then the other thing as well is Method Black, they like to play that Demon Hunter DK a lot. I don't want to see it either, because honestly, I think Wildcard Gaming are just ready for that.
Yeah, I think another thing that we do really need to think about is the fact that we have a little bit of time here, right? They can test some things if they want to, because it's a best of 7. This is going to be the one series in the grand final. That's the thing that changes. You are going to get more games. You're going to get to see more maps. So maybe we get to see some more comps. This is a very interesting idea from Wildcard Gaming. Super Tees, why do you think we're seeing that move?
All right, there it is.
Maybe it's just their bet. I mean, obviously the Fire Mage Mistweaver probably has a decent counter from Method Black, as Method Black's roster in terms of diversity is so deep. So this is Wildcard Gaming trying to be heads up on that. They feel the Windwalker Death Knight stands the best chance overall into every option that Method Black has, rather than the Fire Mage and the Arms Warrior. That seems to be their go-to now for Rogue Mage, however.
And now we get to see Swapsy as well, a multiple BlizzCon champion going for his 3rd victory.
Yeah, and I mean, Swapsy is going to be crucial for them. And we were a little bit critical of Swapsy on that Warlock, but he used to be a Warlock main, so he's been polishing that up. He's been practicing a lot on it, and now is the time to bring it out and really do some damage on that Warlock. And just to talk about the picks for a second, because this is a rematch as well, right? And when these two teams faced in the upper final earlier, Wildcard actually started the series with that Windwalker DK, with that Frost DK, And now they start the series with the Fire Mage Warrior, so they're trying to throw a little curveball there to Method Black, keeping them guessing as what their blind pick is going to be. And I think Wildcard, they just feel like the Windwalker DK is our most solid comp against everything, whereas our Warrior Mage might get hard countered, so we'll save that as a counter pick.
So with the Windwalker DK as well, for anybody tuning in right now, what is going to be their win condition? How are they going to try to pull down this game?
Well, I mean, there's multiple ways you can play it. You can try to play a really aggressive strategy where you're pushing the pace the entire game, or against Magelock Druid, you can use the Pillar and try to extend the game into dampening and then eventually take down a very immobile target like the Destruction Warlock. For Wildcard Gaming, I'm kind of curious to see how they play it. I mean, Ashmane's Fall is a very large map. It's going to be really easy for Method Black to sort of kite around the map if they're using their mobility well. Raikou, of course, phenomenal on that Frost Mage, is going to have everyone snared up and rooted with the Frost Novas, really enabling his team to get away. For Wildcard Gaming, I think this is going to be a really difficult matchup for them.
And I also do want to say, are we really going to be looking at Swapsy's Warlock right now? Is that kind of the question mark for you guys to see how he can perform if we want to see this composition at all throughout the rest of the series?
I mean, in terms of tournament play, we haven't seen it perform yet. So this is the grand final. He's breaking it out. He better have that polished.
Yeah, and I feel like, you know, when you do think of Swapsy, even he's going to have the confidence to break something out. You know, as much as we hype up Snuts coming in that Game 5 a few series ago and just being ready to go, we expect that of Swapsy.
Yeah, and when I was backstage with Method Black, they were telling me they think Magelock Druid is the best composition in the entire game, and that's why they were kind of afraid to go up against Cloud9, because they just think it's overall the best composition. It shouldn't really lose to anything, so they have been practicing it. They have been the team that anytime there is a good composition, they are always adapting, and that's why we've seen them being so consistent throughout the entire year in World of Warcraft, and I bet that they do have this ready at the highest level.
I think another thing with Method Black as well as a team, they tend to be a learning team. You know, throughout the year, they start to really look at some of these compositions, and over time, they get better and better. I think, you know, it wasn't really this year as much. They started off pretty hot, especially with the fact that they were the only roster that stayed together coming out of the previous year. But the year before, really, they started off a little bit slower, and then all of a sudden, WoW started to figure out different things. With Outlaw Rogue, for example, by the time they got to BlizzCon, there was a shift in the meta. They couldn't adapt as much. They couldn't use everything that they had learned as a squad. But now, you look at a team like this, it does favor the way that they work as a team. There hasn't been a big meta change. They looked really good with all of the ways that the game does function right now. And the question is, are they going to be able to tie up this series? We're jumping into it right now. Wildcard Gaming was able to take the first game of this best of 7. Method Black going to try to even the scale.
Well, in the grand finals, these teams are going to be tested to their absolute depths in terms of composition and strategy. Diversity, Method Black now switching to a Spellcaster Cleave. Wildcard Gaming swapping over to a Melee Cleave. Wildcard Gaming, they are going to have a difficult time in this particular matchup, as they will have to overextend, exposing themselves to the Spellcaster damage of Method Black. Swapsy Demonic Gateway away to safety. Blizzo being fired down at the moment, tanking the hit with Iron Bark to continue the pressure onto Swapsy. Zeepai making his way over onto target. This is the first time we will see on the BlizzCon stage Method Black running this Mage Warlock Druid. They've said that they think it's the best composition in the game, so with that in mind, they should be able to win, but if they can't, then what does it mean?
It means that they're down 0-2 in the BlizzCon finals, and that is not a situation you really want to be in. And then they need to figure something else out when that does happen, but we'll have to see. I feel like for Method Black, like we kind of talked about, this is a really good composition for them. The Spellcaster Cleave, the Mage, and the Warlock are going to provide a lot of range damage. They're going to be able to overextend Blizzo and Zeepai on the Death Knight and the Windwalker Monk in this game. But this is one of those matchups that could take a little while. We might have to get into dampening. It's going to be a lot about mana for Chaz and Looney. Which one of them can escape, go for drinks consistently in the matchup, and I think the Druid that can do a better job of that, and the team that can do a better job of shutting that down, is going to pull out ahead.
One big difference I'm seeing right now is that Swapsy is not running the Demonic Circle. We saw Chanimal running that earlier on to be able to find victory against Melee Cleaves. This means that Swapsy will not be able to escape to safety should Wildcard Gaming begin to overwhelm him, and that one difference may actually cost Method Black the match. Another thing that comes into mind is how aggressive is Chaz comparatively to that of Cubsy? Is he going to be going into stealth and landing a lot of stuns for his team? We saw Cubsy just running in against Aztec, carrying with pressure. Blizzo right now being owned by Raikou at the moment. Huge pressure. Looney gonna Iron Bark and hope that that's enough. It may not. There's the stun from Chaz. Beautiful re-engagement on Blizzo, and I'm not sure who's more dangerous. I mean, typically you don't want to leave the Destruction Warlock open because he's going to cast Chaos Bolt and do a ton of damage, but Raikou is also looking pretty threatening.
Yeah, Raiku's sitting in a polymorph right now. That's one of the things. Zeepai with that Dark Simulacrum is going to be able to steal really important spells. If he can take a polymorph or a Cyclone from Chaz and Raikou, then he can use that to get additional crowd control and get his team some pressure. So later on, it's going to be really scary. Blizzo now taking quite a bit of damage as Chaz moves forward, manages to land a stun onto Blizzo. Raikou gets shut down with that paralysis, but still, Blizzo at around 50% health and a little bit of danger. Looney needs to top him off quickly. Fortifying Brew comes in. That's going to make him durable, and Wildcard Gaming is going to be able to hold on.
All right, Blizzo feared away. Looney interrupted. He can't dispel crowd control. His entire team is locked down at the moment. Bash to follow up. Chaz and Raikou both casting crowd control. Hibernate will be secured. Blizzo may need to look to retreat away to safety in the near future if this continues. Another polymorph has been found. No Cyclone attempt. Looney looks to make his getaway. Iron barking Blizzo and making him a lot more durable in this position to push for a counterattack on Swapsy. But no crowd control on Chaz means that Swapsy should be sitting quite pretty. That Spring Blossoms build paying off here, adding a lot of extra heal over time effects to Swapsy from the Restoration Druid. Trying to take a quick look at mana. We're even at this point, only 3 minutes in.
Yeah, even mana for both these Druids. Actually, Chaz a little bit ahead right now, but I'd say pressure has been in favor of Wildcard Gaming. The consistent damage of that Windwalker Death Knight is going to add up really quickly on that Destruction Warlock as we get deeper and deeper into dampening. Right now, Raikou just trying to put out as much damage as he can. They actually make a swap over onto Looney. Chaz and Raikou just trying to solo him. He's getting lower. Can they take him down? He's got no bark skin. If they could have gotten this trinket there, that would have been big. I'm interested to see if Raikou and Chaz, is this a strategy they're going to keep up in this game, or they're just going to keep going after Looney, allow basically Zeepai and Blizzo to go after Swapsy and kind of split their damage and really tax Looney's mana.
All right, Blizzo forced to trade Touch of Karma. Swapsy's Chaos Bolts shred through that. He's in trouble. Iron Bark active as well. Will it be enough? The damage right now from Method Black is insane. Looney looking to recover. It's going to cost him a lot of mana. Chaz is chasing Looney down in the back line, maybe looking for crowd control in the near future, but now he is feared away. Swapsy Paralysis trying to stall and get back on target. We see a split damage strategy here initiated. Zeepai is attacking Raikou. Blizzo is attacking Swapsy. It's an interesting play. This can run a Restoration Druid out of mana quite quickly if they get decent uptime. Healing 2 targets is very expensive. Also putting the Frost Death Knight onto the Frost Mage is going to limit his mobility, and this way they can disrupt both damage dealers, and this is a late game strategy by Wildcard Gaming. They're going to have to stay alive a long time to make it work, can they?
Yeah, double blinding sheet, nicely done there by Zeepai, gripping in Chaz and getting that crowd control on both Raikou and Chaz at the same time, setting up his team. Swapsy rotting down a little bit low, good consistent pressure throughout the game by Blizzo. And I think for Zeepai and Blizzo, it's going to be putting out as much damage as possible. It's going to be all about putting out as much damage as possible. Looney now into a little bit of crowd control. Double Shadow Fury is going to be landing there by Swapsy, but they're not able to find the damage just yet. Dampening has just kicked in.
All right, Looney is absolutely full mana here as Dampening kicks in. This is looking great for Wildcard Gaming. Can they potentially 4-0 Method Black? It would be absolutely insane coming off the back of defeating Cloud9 not once but twice in this tournament, and then maybe taking Method Black in a clean sweep. That's not looking good right now for Method Black overall if they can't prevent Looney from drinking in the near future. I was talking to Looney, and he feels the only way that Mage Warlock Druid wins this is by running him in this position on the Restoration Druid out of mana. Right now he's got full. That condition is not available. Polymorph has been landed onto Chaz, stolen earlier on. That could be devastating. It got his Gladiator's Medallion. If Zeepai can sneak away with another Polymorph, he may sneak away with game 2.
Yeah, it is scary though. As Dampening gets higher and higher, the Destruction Warlock is basically a punching bag in this matchup. He's going to be taking a lot of damage from Blizzo, from Zeepai. And if they have a really high amount of uptime, it's going to be unhealable damage. Stun over onto Chaz, Raikou, Swapsy both taking a decent amount of damage. Raikou basically in panic mode, trying to polymorph up Zeepai and stop a lot of the incoming damage in this matchup so far. I mean, right now, Chaz's mana is not doing great. If Looney can keep pushing forward, you can see Looney right now on the map, he's actually chasing down Chaz, and it's going to be a little bit of a mind game between these two Druids, denying the drinks, trying to keep their mana up, and I really feel like inevitably that's what it's going to come down to.
All right, Blizzo is out in midfield while the Infernals have landed. Swapsy is going to be a big threat right now. They need to stop Chaos Bolt at all costs. Swapsy sneaks in a fear on Looney, unfortunately breaking prematurely. is not going to allow their team to really capitalize. Looney's jumping over to deny Chaz from drinking. Raikou is being pressured. The split strategy could work out. Potentially the Mage Warlock Druid not going to work for Method Black. And then moving into game 3, what do they throw at them?
I'm not sure. That really is a question for Method Black. We'll have to see what they can come up with. But I feel like this option should work. But so far, Wildcard Gaming's dealing with it really nicely. This is a great pick by them. Keep in mind, this was Method Black's map pick. Wildcard Gaming going with that Windwalker Death Knight. Method Black trying to counter them with the Mage Warlock Druid, but unfortunately not able to find victory just yet. 13% dampening. Blizzo so far has been the target, but as that healing reduction goes up in the match, Zeepai on that Death Knight is going to become more and more of a target, and it's really difficult for him to get away late game. So both Swapsy and Zeepai will be very vulnerable as that dampening number goes up and up.
And let's not forget that this is probably one of the best maps for Method Black, and you can only play a map once in this best of 7 series. If they throw away one of their best, it's really only Toveron left, and then they don't have any. Blizzo in trouble, may need to contemplate kiting away, but instead just trading defensive cooldowns to stay aggressive and stay in the fight. Chaz has been trying to drink amongst all of this pressure and chaos, but Looney has been on his tail the entire time, denying it, and dampening will go nowhere but up. The damage of Wildcard Gaming will remain the same, and at some point, Chaz is going to be overwhelmed if they don't get something going soon.
Yeah, they really need to figure it out. Swapsy's still low, 60% health. Blizzo on that Windwalker Monk. He is running the Tiger Eye Brew Honor talent, which gives him a big burst of damage against high armor targets. And guess what? The Destruction Warlock is a very high armor target, so if he can get that ability rolling, he can do a lot of pressure, and that's what we're going to be looking to see. Full Polymorph secured onto Looney. Nicely done by Raikou. Blizzo's just going to be line of sighting right now, trying to avoid as much damage as possible, and that's the thing for Zeepai and Blizzo. If they run and hide for too long, all of a sudden Raikou and Swapsy, they get really comfortable pushing in, and if they can keep Zeepai and Blizzo pinned down at the pillar, that is the winning strategy for Method Black.
All right, Chaz has been going back and forth on these pillars, and Looney has had to chase him, but while he's chasing him, his teammates have been crowd controlled and taking a beating. Even though Chaz isn't regenerating mana, he's occupying Looney's time and allowing potentially a kill for Method Black in the near future. Polymorph onto Chaz. Once again, Zeepai MVP. Dark Sims in this game number 2. A couple more of those, they could close it out. A Fear Now stolen. Insane plays by Zeepai. Game-winning crowd control potentially. Blizzo going to respect the situation and abandon the mission as Icy Veins is active. That's going to allow Raikou a huge amount of damage. Zeepai as well respecting it, ducking for cover, waiting for that cooldown to fade before pushing forward. Blizzo now charging to deny Chaz's drink. Looney looking like he wants to find his own, but Blizzo could be in trouble the longer he spends drinking.
Yeah, and Chaz actually did manage to recover some mana, and this is the strategies I was talking about. If Raikou and Swapsy can keep Blizzo and Zeepai at the pillar, that's the game-winning strategy. Swapsy, though, he's caught in a stun. Zeepai and Blizzo, they're looking to push in 27% dampening, 27% healing reduction for all of these players, as this game will inevitably end because of that dampening going higher and higher. Chaz and Looney even on mana at this point in the game. Which one of them is going to be able to sneak away and drink? That really is the question.
Anti-magic zone from Zeepai, going to be protecting both him and Blizzo from Swapsy's Dark Soul. As we see the demonic gateway utilized, Swapsy looking to escape to safety, but whoa, that was a big chaos bolt. Blizzo feared away. He can't touch a karma. He barely gets it off before being stunned. Such a close call in game number 2. Method Black almost closed it out, but you know what they've managed to do? They've managed to get a mana lead, and that's the main win condition for them. If Looney is unable to find a drink and regenerate that, Method Black now have the advantage.
Yeah, but Blizzo needs to be very careful. There is no defensive cooldowns left for quite some time, so he's going to have to play out of line of sight like we see now, but if he plays out of line of sight for too long, Zeepai all of a sudden is a great target. Swapsy lands a Chaos Bolt. Raikou, they've managed to deflect Wildcard Gaming, keep them back at the pillar. Chaz sits down for a drink, and things are looking great for Method Black.
This is great. They have every cooldown. They have full mana. Method Black have suddenly turned this game on its head, and it's looking like their match to win. And we might be going to a tied game unless Blizzo can pull off a miracle with this Touch of Death. Still opportunity with that powerful offensive cooldown, but this split damage strategy to run Chaz out of mana has now backfired because of that drink. Looney is almost tapped. Innervate is buying him a few seconds of free healing, but even still, they need to push for a kill with nothing but raw pressure because I don't think they're going to run Chaz out of mana a second time.
I don't think so. Paralysis over on Raikou. Swapsy's still in some trouble, but he's trying to counter pressure Blizzo and does manage to get him away, and that gives Chaz an opportunity to actually top him off. 37% dampening at this point in the game, and this is where things start spiraling out of control for both of these healers. They're not going to have the time to actually sneak away and recover their mana, but for Chaz, that doesn't really matter. His mana's in such a good position at this spot. Zeepai now is going to be a great target for Raikou to just cast those frostbolts, and I don't know if Zeepai's going to be able to recover. They shred through the anti-magic shell very quickly. He's getting low. Is there any opportunity for Looney to top him off? His mana's low. Infernal's dropped down. Method Black looking to close out the game. Interrupt on Looney. Zeepai's on the run. He's trying to get behind the pillar. Does manage to do so. He's going to be healing with Death Strike off of that Infernal. But now, Wildcard Gaming, they're going to be playing scared.
Yeah, I mean, at 41% dampening, Death Strike not doing too much for Zeepai. Looney with limited mana. They need to overwhelm Swapsy soon, but he's got so many options to survive. Method Black currently have Wildcard Gaming in a checkmate position, unless they can pull off a miracle, and it's going to be off the Blizzo's back with Touch of Death. When is he going to pull the trigger on it? Is he going to be able to before the match is over? And Zeepai is overwhelmed. He's isolated in midfield. Raikou is teeing off. Huge pressure. Anti-magic zone dropped. And now Zeepai is going to take a moment to pause, but they may need to run away. They're going after Chaz at the pillar to try and benefit both from its line of sight as well as get some damage on the healer, but Chaz immediately recognizing that and avoiding the fight. Raikou is relentless, pushing forward. Looking at the cooldown situation, Dark Soul available. That can amplify Swapsy's damage quite a lot. Looney jumping to his team here at the pillar. They're desperate. They're going after Raikou. They're hitting whatever they can, but Raikou has more than enough options to survive, and right now they're just withering down to the pressure of Method Black. 2 members at 50% health. No mana remains for Looney. Basically no options remain. What are they going to do?
Method Black has Wildcard Gaming in a chokehold. Looney gets interrupted. Blizzo 50% health. Zeepai 50% health. And if Zeepai and Blizzo were just running away the entire game, there's no way they can turn the momentum of this game. They grip in Swapsy. Can they find any damage? Raikou blinks in to back him up. Can they get the damage rolling? Zeepai just on the run. Anti-magic shell not available for another 35 seconds. If Raikou can find any damage, they will be able to tie up this series, Sid.
Pillar of Frost has been popped. Zeepai needs to get significant cooldowns with this. He only manages to get Iron Bark. They can't afford to attack into Thorns. They're going to retreat away. That redirected damage surely would take them out. But Raikou's on the opposite side of the pillar, ready and waiting with a frozen orb. Swapsy's on the other side. They're cornered. There's no safe place to go. They're just taking nothing but free damage at this point. Looney, though, is trying to drink. He didn't get any mana. Chaz finds him in the corner and denies it. Now Chaos Bolts are flying in onto Zeepai. He grips to deny the follow-up. Blizzo goes for a desperate Fist of Fury to try and scare Swapsy away, but he is not going to be scared away that easily, standing in the face of his opponents here for what could be the final seconds of match number 2.
Yeah, but Blizzo and Zeepai, they might be able to take down Swapsy. At this point in the game, a Destruction Warlock is no longer very durable, and this is the Touch of Death. Wildcard Gaming, they have an opportunity. Can they take down Swapsy? Zeepai, unfortunately, has to run. Raikou trying to protect his Warlock, trying to protect Swapsy. Chaz in a great position. Luna gets interrupted once again. Method Black just needs to find a little bit more damage to close out this game. They have to be careful, though.
Oh,
Swapsy,
no.
This is the Inferno. Big damage! Zeepai's getting low. Big Death Strike, anti-magic zone, but the longer they hide and run in this,
Swapsy!
the better it's looking. But Swapsy's getting swamped too. Lots of damage. Mortal Coil can it deny Sid. I don't know if he's going to be able to hold on.
It's a race to the finish here. Who is going to fall first? Swapsy has nothing. He gets the Demonic Gateway. He abandons it. Goes for the Chaos Bolt. Could snipe the kill. Zeepai barely stays alive. Looney has no mana. Raikou moving in to close it out here. Frozen Orb on the entire team. Triple threat damage from Raikou. Zeepai just refusing to die at this point, but at 60% dampening, I don't think he can make it much longer. They're all in so much trouble. Chaz is moving in. Chaz is the one who's going to be able to close this out in cat form, finding the kill for his team, tying it up 1-1.
Chaz just going to be able to flex on him in the final moments there. That was not an easy game at all. This one is looking like it is going to go the distance potentially. And Zico, that feels very fitting. Think about how many times we have actually seen this series play out throughout the entirety of the year. Without a question, the two top dogs in EU, pretty much every single cup, these were the two teams to make it to the final.
Yeah, and they look hotter than ever. Both of these guys putting on a show for us right now. You can see the big momentum swing right there where Chaz was able to get a drink, and every single time Zeepai goes for the grip on the Swapsy, triple Inferno Stun, triple Shadow Fury, double Mortal Coils, trying to reverse that pressure, using his offense kind of defensively to try to just counter pressure, and that is what made Chanimal so successful as well in Cloud9. Very nice strategy adaptation there from Method Black. Very good comp pick as well, but that was Wildcard's blind pick as well. I'm excited to see what happens next.
Yeah, I kind of want to ask as well, just differences between that and the first game. I think in the first game, when we were looking at the side of Wildcard Gaming, we were like, wow, they're just playing out of their minds, which we all know isn't sustainable through every single game. Do you think that they've cooled off a little bit, or are we still seeing that performance that we saw in the first game from them?
I think they played an excellent game, honestly. I just think that's one of those matchups that's really difficult in Method Black. They picked a good map. They picked an excellent counter to what Wildcard Gaming decided to lock in, and it just shows how prepared Method Black really is. I mean, this is a team that can run Rogue Mage at such a high level. They can also run the melee cleaves as well as the wizard cleaves. So they really are a team that has everything ready. And for Wildcard Gaming, it's really difficult because what do you throw at the team that has every single composition you can have?
That's why we have just seen this be one of the most dominant forces throughout the entirety of the season. They have so many points at their disposal. That is how they managed to get to this BlizzCon stage. And ladies and gentlemen, make a little bit of noise as we start to set the stage. We are very quickly going to be crowning our champion, Method Black versus Wildcard Gaming, when we return.
BlizzCon 2019 is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of BlizzCon. Facebook Gaming, a world of play. Samsung SSD, performance gamers trust. Corsair, do your thing. And by NVIDIA.
BlizzCon 2019 is brought to you by T-Mobile. Their newest signal goes farther than ever, and it's built 5G ready. MSI, True Gaming. Intel, the official CPU partner of BlizzCon. Cisco, the official networking partner of BlizzCon. And by HyperX. We're all gamers.
Before I quit WoW, I always said I wanted to win BlizzCon, so winning BlizzCon for me would be like the end of the line almost.
I would definitely say that our roster really wants to win BlizzCon. We won other tournaments as well that weren't as big as BlizzCon, but they were still the same teams there, and it's usually the same people we're facing.
I don't think that roster has anything to prove. I mean, everyone in the WoW scene knows how good they are and how good they are as a team.
I mean, it's just their biggest goal. They won't stop until they get it.
Swapsy's legacy, I feel like, is already set in stone. He's definitely one of the WoW greats. Adding another one definitely wouldn't hurt, but I don't think it would change his legacy all too much just because people understand and realize how good he really is.
I still think they kind of struggle a bit in these finals, and they do like some random mistakes they wouldn't do if it was like a different game maybe, but I don't think they need to prove anything to anyone.
I think we're all like really here to win, and especially for me, like I was so close so many times. So this is the year.
Yeah, you can hear from the other players that maybe they don't need to prove anything for people to know how good they are. But can you be the best if you haven't won a BlizzCon? I think the answer is no. This is something that they need to do to be able to cement the fact that they are one of the best teams, one of the most dominant dynasties that we've seen. When you talk about dynasty, Swapsy was a part of the most dominant dynasty, a team that just countlessly won BlizzCons. He already has 2 in his back pocket, looking for a third. But when you look at how consistent this team has been in seasonal play, how many points they were able to pull down, there really isn't much like it in WoW's history as an esport. My name is Rich. I'm going to be your host. I'm joined on the desk by Zico, Supertees, and Van Ruki to cover this grand final and to crown our champion at BlizzCon 2019. And we have a team that is trying to do just that, cement their legacy with this BlizzCon victory.
Whoa.
We've already seen...
Whoa. What is that?
That, my friend, is Z-Pi on his main.
Yeah, but it's also an interesting composition from Method Black.
That's true.
This is coming from the dude in a zebra cardigan. This is weird.
Well, I was gonna say Method Black has more comps than you have outfits, and I guess they do.
Man,
what is that?
That is definitely not what we expected here, and with a lot on the line as well. I mean, you talk about what's on the line for Method Black, but you look on the side of Wildcard Gaming, they are in a similar situation. They've played spoiler to so many teams throughout the years, whether it is at LANs, whether it is at BlizzCons, and you look at the players, I mean, also going to have pretty dominant legacies as well. But why do you think we actually start to see, Zico, these different compositions coming out?
I'm honestly not sure what the logic is behind picking that DK Rogue, but we have seen Method Black bring it out, I think, once or twice during the Cups. It's a good comp for just being super aggressive, all-inning healers, and I guess, I'm not sure, I guess it's a good answer to maybe taking down Mistweaver monks, and that's maybe why they want to pick it. But on the flip side, we know that we saw a lot of Elemental Mage at the start of the season. The reason why we haven't seen it that much has been because of Rogue Mage just being super good into it. But when you're picking it as a counter and you know you're not going against Rogue Mage, I think it could work out. But we haven't seen it with a Mistweaver before either. Wildcard Gaming usually played that with the Resto Druid.
Yeah, we actually did see the Shaman get employed in the last LAN, and keep in mind, folks, even if you weren't able to watch the last LAN, you're just watching for BlizzCon right now, there are a lot of similarities between that LAN and this tournament as far as how the game is going to look. The Shaman looked decent. They made believers out of us with the Shaman, but it wasn't able to quite do it. They played it the one game, and then they never went back to it for the rest of the tournament. So it coming out here, that means that they saw something in War Games. They're not going to risk anything in this best of 7, and now it's time to kick it off. One of these teams will pull ahead in our best of 7. Method Black versus Wildcard Gaming.
I'm really excited to see how this one plays out. Zeepai on the Elemental Shaman, something we haven't seen at BlizzCon yet, and I am just so excited to see how he plays because, in my opinion, he is one of the best Elemental Shamans to ever play this game.
He is the best Elemental Shaman in my mind at the moment. Obviously, Swapsy known for it, but I'm not sure if he's kept it up the same way that Zeepai has. Now getting to showcase his main on the BlizzCon Grand Final. Every player in this in particular being able to show off their best. Tied up 1-1. Game 7 potentially on the line here between these guys. You couldn't ask for a better final, honestly. Chaz crowd controlled by Looney, who's going to be the target for Wildcard Gaming. They're actually going after Chaz. An interesting decision as the Spellcaster cleave. We see the strategies have flipped. Method Black are now running a melee cleave composition. They will need to get up into the face of their opponents. They'll be on the clock against the Spellcasters of Wildcard Gaming.
Yeah, and it really just shows how versatile both of these rosters are. Method Black picking this composition on the smaller map. And keep in mind, Marl with the Frost Death Knight and Assassination Rogue is training him down the entire game. They're going to be able to limit what he does quite a bit. That Delirium hard stop aura from Swapsy, the consistent interrupts from Mind Freeze and Kick and Kidney Shot make it really difficult to find for Morrow to find these setups. But if there's any Fire Mage in the game that could get control of these two melee and try to find a win opportunity, I think it would be Morrow.
All right, Waz being destroyed right now at the moment. Chaz getting lightning lassoed, another swap. 2 members low on health. As these are compositions we have not seen go head-to-head on the tournament stage ever. This is the first time and potentially going to cause a lot of chaos amongst all of the players to try and figure out what the best options actually are. At the moment, it's a little bit too close to call. Potentially a slight lead for Wildcard Gaming at this point in time. Waz's feint has now faded. Chaz is interrupted, but a grip into double blinding sheet from Swapsy is setting up the team well here on Morrow. Morrow knows that he is the focus point. He's going to temporal shield and deny the kill there. Lightning Lasso Paralysis combo. Waz being isolated. Swapsy, though, going to back him up with this anti-magic zone.
Yeah, Greater Power Blast, Lightning Lasso. Good combo there by Wildcard Gaming. Waz was in a little bit of trouble. Anti-magic zone. Swapsy is the only thing to keep him alive, but Waz getting low. This could be danger time. Big damage here from Wildcard Gaming. Waz forced to use a Cloak of Shadows. What a nightmare situation. At the Black, they have to stabilize here. Waz doesn't have a single defensive cooldown left.
Leaving the Elemental Shaman open, and at any point, Earthshock could potentially just close this match out. Waz now has no immediate response. Dragon's Breath on Chaz. Lightning Lasso dealing huge pressure. Chaz blocks with Iron Bar. Greater Pyroblast being channeled in the backline. Swapsy doing his best to disrupt these Greater Pyroblasts of Morrow. Now Chaz choosing to Cyclone it. A very important spell to stop. Method Black have abandoned the Mage Morrow as the target, realizing that Zeepai may be a bigger threat.
Yeah, but that being said, if you leave Morrow open for too long, especially with the Greater Pyroblast, he's going to be able to put out a lot of damage. And that's the thing about these Spellcaster cleaves. You go after Zeepai, you free up Morrow. If you go after Morrow, you free up Zeepai. It really is not a great option. You could try to go for a split strategy, but I think Looney on the Mistweaver Monk would be able to deal with that quite easily.
All right, triple crowd control here for Wildcard Gaming. Waz on the run, looking to avoid a near-death experience. Triple blind by Swapsy, stalling out that push entirely. Nice chill streak combo as well, maxing out that damage. Chaz looks like he may be trying to drink. That certainly will be one main win condition for the team of Wildcard Gaming, but a Flame Strike is going to snipe Chaz and deny that regeneration. Morrow trying to Polymorph Swapsy and stall the game, but interrupted now by Waz. Ring of Peace to try and protect, but Swapsy can go through that knockback effect. Waz playing close to the fence, realizing with no Cloak of Shadows for 35 seconds, he could be taken out. But now pushing forward with Iron Bark. Black Cocoon from Looney in response. Cycloned by Chaz. Well done there, denying some of the recovery, although I don't think it is going to cost too much. Zeepai now stunned up. Chaz navigating over to the fence as well. Looney moving in for the leg sweep. Who is going to be the target? Actually not available. Maybe Looney making that push a couple seconds too soon. Chaz's mana is not looking good. Wildcard Gaming simply need to stay on top of Chaz, deny drinks, and keep up the pressure.
Yeah, Looney's at 100% mana at this point of the game. Combustion gets ripped out. Swapsy denies it with the anti-magic zone. Kitty shot now into Morrow. As you can see, Method Black, they're looking to get aggressive, but mana is just such an important part of this match. We're 30 seconds away from dampening. Looney completely topped off. There's been such limited pressure here by Method Black. Chaz mana isn't doing too great, and it's going to be really difficult on this map to actually sneak away, get out of combat, and recover your mana, especially if Looney is on point with chasing down Chaz, which he has been so far.
I think that Heartstop aura from Swapsy with an Assassination Rogue on a Mage was their main point for win conditions, but I think they forgot that there's an Elemental Shaman that they're going to leave open, dealing tons of damage, and now the strategy isn't working. They're going after Chaz, they're mixing it up. He is going to be able to recover around the corner. Swapsy gunning forward with that Pillar of Frost. Greater Pyroblast being channeled. Swapsy denying that. Swapsy is going to be on denial duty to shut down Morrow left and right. Looney moves over, seeing Chaz in stealth. Chaz is trying to sneak away from the fight and drink. Will he be able to? This map is so small, there's nowhere for him to go. Waz is taking a punishment at the moment. He is not able to find a drink. And slowly but surely, Wildcard Gaming continue their lead.
Yeah, Wildcard Gaming, they're just on point. Anytime Chaz tries to sneak away, they get out big damage, forcing Chaz to come back and actually heal. While Shadow steps over on Morrow. Beautiful Ring of Peace there, dropped out by Looney. Nicely done. We are all tied up in the grand finals. Method Black 1 point, Wildcard Gaming 1 point. This is such an important game. If Method Black can win this game, all of a sudden they've swung. This is a swing match. If they can swing the map picks in their favor, it will be big. Wildcard Gaming, they consistently pick up their picks. Morrow getting low. Temporal Shield does trade out. Is that going to keep him alive? Big damage here from Swapsy and Waz, but it does get denied there by the Life Cocoon.
Look at Looney's mana. It's maxed out. Chaz is almost completely tapped. If they can just keep this going a tad bit longer, they're going to be able to mix it up and basically hit whoever they want on Method Black and take them out deeper into dampening. Waz getting lightning bolted down by Z-Pie, setting up a lot of Maelstrom for potentially a gigantic Earthshock. Double blind by Swapsy. Swapsy being an MVP at the moment for disruption and damage. Really carrying the team at this point in time. Looney's going to Trinket blind, but gets silenced on the Trinket. Excellent play by Waz. He's looking to set up the kick. Great crowd control. He's looking to try and stay on target, but a little bit reluctant to overextend. Now a kidney shot. Waz single-handedly taking this game into his own hands.
Yeah, do they have the damage to force out the Ice Block? That's the question. Looney has all the mana in the world, but if he doesn't have the free time, he's not going to be able to top him off. Does manage to find the Enveloping Mist with the Soothing Mist. Big Mistweaver heals. Temporal Shield trades as well. Now Lightning Lasso over onto Chaz. Wildcard Gaming looking to make a big swap. Swapsy shuts it down with the anti-magic zone. Waz in the meantime in a lot of trouble as well. Forced to trade out his every man for himself. He has the Cloak of Shadows. If he has to trade that out right now, this is going to be a disaster. Method Black actually reversing the pressure.
Now we see Looney interrupted again by Waz. Waz really wants this despite being so far behind. He's trying to pull it back for his team. Vendetta is rolling. Looney's going to respect that with Life Cocoon. Waz now on the run. He can't stay out for much longer. Z-Pie is just turreting him down. Cloak of Shadows trades out, but that is the most important cooldown for Waz to stay alive. He's not going to see it again for another 2 minutes. 2 minutes is a long time against Wildcard Gaming at 16% dampening.
Especially when Chaz has no mana left whatsoever. How can he keep his team alive? Morrow with the Kleptomania Spellsteal. Z-Pie with the Purges. This is a nightmare for a Restoration Druid to deal with. He needs to somehow get away. Method Black, they need to find pressure. Swapsy and Waz, they need to set up a condition where Chaz has an opportunity to sneak away. They need to find pressure on either Morrow or Z-Pie, really force Wildcard Gaming defensive. If they cannot do that, I feel like Chaz is never going to be able to recover his mana.
All right, Chaz chilling in bear form at the moment, waiting for his mana to regenerate, but cross crowd control could close this out. Waz pre-feints the Lightning Lasso. The only reason he's even alive right now, dropping Smoke Bomb to avoid, but gets Ring of Peace out of it. He's hiding on the edge of the Smoke Bomb to avoid Z-Pie's casted spells. Excellent play by Waz. If he did not pre-feint that stun, he would easily be dead right now, doing everything in his power to keep his team alive in game 3.
Yeah, 21% dampening. Morrow pushes forward with the Meteor. Z-Pie chasing him. Waz shadow steps away. Evasive maneuvers. He has to Vanish. He might need to use it. Vanish comes out. He gets Dragon's Breath. This is so scary for Method Black. Wildcard Gaming, they want to make that final push. Waz behind the pillar with Chaz. Chaz has an opportunity to top him off. He needs to find some heals. Does manage to do so, and now Waz can finally try to get some damage rolling. Lightning Lasso coming in from Z-Pie. Wildcard Gaming really all over the place at this point in the game. All three members of Method Black are going to be in a little bit of trouble.
All right, Looney's still maxed on mana. Chaz is basically nothing left. Double blind from Swapsy. How are they going to set up off the back of this? Waz is on the run. He can't capitalize at all. They're just trying to pause the game out. Double leg sweep could close it out. No Cloak of Shadows for 15, but Swapsy is there. Ring of Peace knocking Waz out of its defense. He's going to be exposed. He's on the run out of line of sight. He's not going to be able to walk back in anytime soon. Chaz is now taking some punishment from Z-Pi. Stunned away by Waz. Waz trying to support. All three members of Method Black really participating into their ability to survive this long, despite having absolutely nothing left. Cloak of Shadows just comes off cooldown. He may need to has to press it as soon as it comes off cooldown. Method Black, man, they are on the ropes.
Yeah, Maro's been landing really good interrupts today. Manages to land one on Chaz, that counterspell, and now Waz, there's no way he gets topped off. I mean, look at Chaz's mana. He's completely running on empty. Somehow he's managed to keep his team alive at 30% dampening. Waz and Swapsy with evasive maneuvers, good cooldown rotation, but I really feel like they're running out of time, and they're running out of time quick.
All right, can Method Black get anything done here? I'm trying to look for the openings. And all in on Looney? I mean, there's still an ice block. Maybe the Elemental Shaman. Beautiful crowd control, at least right now, by Method Black. They get follow-up. This is the best opportunity they've got really all game to try and push for a significant cooldown. Maybe a kill if they can continue it. The chain has been dropped. Looney is now healing. Z-Pi is likely to recover. Now Chaz is in crowd control. Waz is taking a beating. Meteor coming in. Waz ducks for cover around the corner. Z-Pi pushes in to close it. Maro's on the other side. Waz has nowhere to run. With two spellcasters on either side, what are his options? He is just going to hide away. Swapsy now getting turreted down as he tries to push forward and carry the team. He's not going to be able to spend too much time in the midfield at 34% healing reduction. He's trying to do his best now using the pillar off to the side. Maro stunned up, but he pre-temporals. That's going to absorb a lot of damage here during the stun. Heal him back up. Looney should be able to recover him. Wildcard Gaming needs to look to set up another push as soon as possible. Cloak of Shadows comes up at 37. Even though Chaz has been out of mana this entire time, if nobody does, I'm wondering if they can actually pull off with pressure on Z-Pi despite that.
Yeah, I mean, Z-Pi's getting low. There's a bash on Looney. Can Method Black turn this around? Life Cocoon trades out, but there's not too much left for Z-Pi. And at 37% dampening, Looney's going to really start struggling. Somehow Chaz has just been regenerating mana, keeping his team up. Now actually going down for a drink. This is the exact situation that he needs. If he did recover his mana a little bit, this is going to be big. But I think if Wildcard Gaming, they start going after Swapsy, it's going to be a much better target than Waz.
Z-Pi's trying to find Chaz and stop it. They stop the drink. No mana regenerated there. And now the dampening is at 40%. They actually sap Looney while he was trying to find it. Beautifully done there by Waz. That could be game-breaking if they can get the Astral Shift here without Vendetta. That cooldown is going to be the game-winning cooldown, I believe, for Method Black. If they can find the opportunity, do they have enough damage to do it? They may just outright win the game without it. Z-Pi's in trouble. They swap to Chaz. Swapsy protects him again with the anti-magic zone. But Stormkeeper's available. Z-Pi's channeling that. He's going to get 2 instant cast lightning bolts and a ton of Maelstrom for a big Earthshock in a second. Swapsy's in a lot of trouble. Anti-magic shield gets shredded. Greater Pyroblast in the back line. Chaz stops it for now, but another is being channeled. Maro looking for a second. He blinks out of line of sight of the clone. Going for another. Gets gripped. If Maro gets this Greater Pyro, it's going to be the end of the game. Lightning Lasso channeled. Greater Pyro disrupted again. At all costs, they have to deny Maro.
Yeah, they definitely need to. He's looking for the Polymorph. Now looking for the Greater Pyroblast. Can he land it? Swapsy realizing there's no more interrupts. He had to get out of line of sight. Nicely done by Method Black, but Swapsy, can he get topped off? That is the question. Chaz has a little bit of mana. Maro gets blinded up, I believe, but it actually broke. Looney in this spot doesn't have much mana left, and at this point in dampening, both healers are going to struggle immensely, and Z-Pi's actually going to be a great target. If Watts and Swapsy can keep their uptime, I think Z-Pi could easily fall.
They grip Z-Pi out of range. He's going to Thunderstorm Swapsy, try and buy a moment for Looney to breathe, but Looney has expended that entire mana bar lead at this point, and it's still anyone's match in game number 3. Lightning Lasso gets disrupted by Swapsy. Great denial. Waz trades Cloak to go for the kill. Astral Shift is the only thing blocking it for now. 5 more seconds, 4 more seconds. Now Waz in trouble. Swapsy tearing in. Chaz stunned up. Ironbark is faded. Waz gets concentrated flame. Z-Pi is still low. They ring in peace. Waz back into line of sight to close it out. And good night, Waz. Wildcard Gaming take game 3.
What a finish every single game. We end up in these scenarios, and also we end up very late in dampening. These games are definitely going to go the distance, and these are the 2 teams that can manage to get to these late portions of the game.
And I mean, that was the swing match for Method Black. That is a massive win for Wildcard Gaming. So in this situation, if it goes to a best of 7, all of a sudden they're going to have that advantage.
Yeah, that is something that is going to be important in the grand final, guys. Keep in mind, it is also going to be a best of 7. So this is not match point yet. They still have a little bit of work to do, but let's talk about what they already got done in this last game.
So I like actually the blind pick from Method Black. They go to a small map and then they threaten with the DK and the Rogue, and the strategy, I mean, you can see it right here. They're going after Waz. They're using the Lightning Lasso, the Fire Mage, big one-shot combo with those two classes there. And of course here towards the end as well, you can see actually Method Black figures out how they want to play the matchup. They get to a little bit of dampening, they go after Z-Pi, they duck for cover and interrupt every single grade of Pyroblast. But you gotta give it to Looney, man. This guy is so good on that mock. The rings of pieces have been out of this world the entire series long, and he manages to find it there at the end, forcing Waz back into the line of sight of his teammates, and they managed to secure the win.
I do want to talk a little bit more about the Mage Ellie as well. I think this is a composition a lot of us really didn't expect to see. And Ben, when he's casting, he's talking about all the potential that you really do have with a composition like this. You leave one of them open, and then they start free casting on you. They can generate large amounts of pressure. Zika, where do the weaknesses really start to come in?
Well, the weakness is if you don't get those one-shots, then you are very susceptible to dying. And I feel like if you play a very controlled game, you can actually reliably survive it. You go after the Ellie Shaman because his burst is a little bit more, kind of random, where you can just get a big, Stormkeeper and one-shot somebody, big Earth Shocks. Whereas the Mage, as long as you're avoiding the greater Pyroblasts, you're not really going to be caught off, by a big surprising amount of damage like that. So I feel like the weakness is you have two squishy targets, but that's also the strength of the comp. You have two kind of high priority targets, and you have to pick your poison. Which one do you want to leave free?
We've watched these teams go head-to-head the entire year, and I don't think anyone could have predicted that composition, matchup, and strategy. We're still seeing new tactics from these teams in the final series of this year.
And it's very different than what we see with some of the other teams, right? I think these two teams in particular, when they're playing against each other, all of a sudden they're like, wait, we can't play these comps anymore. We need to switch something up because everything just does feel so close. So they start to actually play that comp game with each other. And I think what we've seen from both of these squads to get to this grand final, they could rely a lot more on one composition. They weren't actually changing things up too much throughout the series, but now they're going to throw everything at their opponent to try to take down this BlizzCon.
Yeah, and now, of course, it is going to be the map pick of Method Black, and I'm curious to see where they decide to go. I'm thinking that it's likely we go to a large map, something like Tol Varan, and once again, they're looking to lock in that Mage Lock Druid and take advantage of that really large map where they can kite around. For Wildcard Gaming, what is their best blind option? Are they going to go, is it possible that the Elemental Shaman Fire Mage could be good against the Mage Lock Druid?
I think they would just lock in the Rogue Mage Druid if they did that.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like the highest percentage play, which is still kind of a low percentage play for Wildcard, is just the DK Windwalker.
Yeah.
You go on a big map, and maybe if you can drag the game out to a little bit of dampening, you can get, all in on Chaz or something. It's kind of unlikely to happen, but I feel like it's a lot more likely than winning against Rogue Mage with, this Mistweaver kind of, wizard comp.
I really do think, though, this is one of those series where I'm just excited for the draft every single time. Like Sid mentioned, I don't think you could pick a matchup between any two teams besides these two squads that have played each other more throughout the year. Every single time they made it, they were both incredibly consistent teams into those grand finals in cup play. And this just is a completely different series already than what we've expected. And even inside of arena matches with these two teams, with comps that we know, sometimes the strategies that they try to use to win are completely different. It goes later in the game than you expected. It ends shorter than you expected. We just don't know what these squads are going to do.
I'm really wondering if Method Black can break the land curse. Seems like they always get to this final. They dominate every single online tournament. They only lost one cup the entire year, but then when it comes to the lands, they just fall a little bit short on the finish. Of course, they're playing a phenomenal series, but they've still maybe got that in the back of their minds that they're going to have to be battling with if they want to close this out. I don't think that they were thinking earlier on they were thinking Wildcard Gaming would be easier for them than Cloud9, but after now seeing this, I'm not entirely sure.
In all fairness, though, I feel like Wildcard Gaming has struggled at lands as well for what you would expect from this team. Going back even before Mara was on the squad, right? I think back to Poland, for example, and you really are looking at them to potentially take that. It's been difficult for Europe as a whole, I think, to have the land performances that they've really wanted throughout the years.
Yeah, and I mean, Europe, they struggled in spring, they struggled in summer, but now at BlizzCon, Rich, we got an all-European final here.
Yeah, well, it was interesting even when we did see EU, really over the past 2 years, right? When we did start to use the point system, which changed a lot as to how you were qualifying, how the lands were played out. the first time that we saw EU win one of those lands, it was Reformed, if you remember, and that's actually how they got their spot to BlizzCon, and that was like a team that you didn't expect to actually see move through. It was a wild card team, and that was about 2 years back now, and it's the top teams that tend to struggle at the lands more than you would expect.
This is kind of an interesting pick from Method Black. I really thought they'd go with the Mage Lock Druid, but instead on Tolvaron Arena, they're going to be going with the Rogue Mage Druid, which is kind of unexpected because they did win Ashman's Fall.
That they're going for here, Sid.
I mean, I think the matchup should be in their favor. It still sets up Chaz well to drink. Perhaps they're more confident in this as well because they played it a lot more. Even though they found success on Asha mains, I'm more confident in their Rogue Mage Druid.
I think that that's very fair as well, especially with what we've seen a little bit earlier today, and Zika, with what we've heard from some of these teams, that they're like, yeah, it looked good in that first game, but it doesn't seem like it is our highest percentage play.
Yeah, no, I think the Windwalker DK is really intelligent from Wildcard Gaming. I don't really have a question about anything that they've done so far, but I think when I spoke actually with Looney earlier backstage, they were talking about how the Frost DK versus the Unholy DK kind of plays out, and they want the Frost DK versus the Rogue Mage, and they want the Unholy DK against the Warlock Mage. So I think Method Black realizes that, so they want to go with the Rogue Mage against the Unholy DK here. But I still think if Wildcard Gaming plays it out perfectly, there is conditions here where they can just win later on in the game. They can easily get an all-in going onto Chaz, maybe take him down through everything. If he doesn't have a Gladiator's Medallion, they can just kill him through Barkskin, kill him through Iron Bark. If they can get a little bit of uptime, they can definitely do that. They can get a nice swap to Waz. There is a lot of opportunity for Wildcard Gaming, but at the same time, this is Method Black on their bread and butter Rogue Mage Druid.
What is it about the different specs of Death Knight which makes it stack up against those comps in that way?
Well, against Mage Logs, if you have the Frost DK, you kind of just, you don't really get to do too much there, because the Frost DK needs a lot of uptime to sit on that mage and really be effective, reducing the cooldown of the blink, or sorry, increasing the cooldown of the blink upwards towards a minute. And of course, with the Unholy DK, if you have to duck, in and out, which you're gonna have to do against the Mage Warlock, the Unholy DK is gonna be more effective.
Well, folks, Wildcard Gaming could find themselves on match point right here. Method Black definitely trying to find their footing and tie up this series yet again as we touch down in Tolvaron Arena. And now I get to have the pleasure of asking you guys, are you guys ready to open these games?
Here we go. This is Method Black's best map, Tolvaron Arena. And in this best of 7, you will not see the same map twice. They cannot afford to lose on their home turf.
Yeah, this is a really crucial game for Method Black. They don't want to be down 3-1. They have to tie up this series, and they have set themselves up very nicely to do so. The Rogue Mage Druid, like Zico said, is their bread and butter composition. We'll have to see how it plays out. For Wildcard Gaming, they need to find some damage onto Raikou, maybe making swaps over onto Waz, potentially even Chaz if he gets too aggressive.
Beautiful shutdown by Blizzo. Not only playing that warrior to top level as well with that Windwalker. Looney counterspelled. Raikou trying to capitalize on this moment to push forward for some pressure on Blizzo, but not nearly enough damage to do so. Raikou taking some pain at the moment. Chaz trying to pause that out with Iron Bark and able to recover. Innervate timing perfect here. Chaz is getting free regrowth and can easily heal through this first attack for free.
Yep, for Raikou in this match, it's all about survival. Just try to control Zeepai, control Blizzo as much as you can in the game. Use the Pet Freeze, the Ice Nova to deny mobility, try to create space, and actually we can see Method Black, they're going after Looney in this match. If we allow Chaz and Raikou to just get control of Blizzo and get control of Zeepai in this match, and you have an assassination rope like Waz just train down Looney, it's definitely a nice strategy.
Waz is trying to kill Looney at the moment. He's going to get denied by Zeepai. Fixate stun and chains of ice. He will easily recover. Looks like Looney's repositioning across the map. Chaz sitting down for a drink. Blizzo in trouble. Looney going to protect him at the moment with Iron Bark. Waz immediately switching to Looney. Now earlier on, pre-dampening it. Seems like Method Black are trying to go for a surprise kill and hope that Wildcard Gaming make a mistake. This is why we see them switching targets so frequently. The other advantage to hitting 2 targets is that healing 2 targets is very expensive, so Looney should run out of mana faster. And if Method Black can keep this strategy up and stay on top of Looney to deny drinks, they can build that advantage moving on later into the game.
It's also a very safe strategy. If you don't have Waz on top of Raikou, you don't leave yourself susceptible to these double leg sweeps, and you just allow Raikou to really get control of the game. It's a great way because for Method Black, I mean, unless they can take down Looney in a big surprise kill, it is going to require a little bit of dampening for them to actually take down Zeepai, barring some mistakes from Wildcard Gaming. So I like the strategy choice for Method Black. Just play it calm, cool, collective. Later on in the game, push when you do have that advantage.
Splitting is going to reduce damage, amplify damage, and build a mana advantage, but so far it's been difficult. Blizzo being single targeted down, focus fired. Iron Bark needs to be enough as Looney powers through the pressure to recover. Now retreating away and crossing the map to deny Chaz from drinking. Zeepai is sending his ghoulish undead army after him as well. They're going to need to stay on top of mana as that is likely the main win condition for both teams. Chaz gets stunned up by Looney. Doesn't look like they have any further crowd control. 2 members are low on health. Chaz only has 1 Iron Bark. He's going to allocate that onto Raikou. Now Wildcard Gaming could make a swap to Waz. Pressure forward for an evasion as well. Shadow Step Kidney on the Fist of Fury. Beautifully done. Waz shuts down that situation entirely.
Yeah, Blizzo could be in some trouble. There's a Basher on Looney. A follow-up Cyclone. Blizzo now has to trade out not only his Diffused Magic, but his Touch of Karma. Now he's on the run. This is a great situation for Method Black. They got the crowd control nicely done there by Chaz, and they managed to get basically every defensive cooldown from Blizzo. If they can keep doing these setups, eventually Blizzo won't have an escape option.
Ring of Peace denying Waz's reconnect as Blizzo tries to retreat to safety while Looney regenerates mana. Now an advantage to Wildcard Gaming in that regard. Grip into double leg sweep. Beautiful offense here from Wildcard Gaming. All 3 members in crowd control and locked down. Temporal Shield ticking away, healing Raikou up and allowing himself to save the day throughout that crowd control chain from Wildcard Gaming.
Nicely done. Raikou taking a little bit of damage in this game. Finally, Zeepai and Blizzo able to get some uptime in the match, but Chaz is able to easily kill through it. And now there's a smoke bomb attempt. Fortifying brew by Blizzo preemptively before the kidney shot. Nicely done. Vortex keeping him in the smoke bomb as well. Finally, a kidney shot lands. Nicely done by Waz. Waiting for the fortifying brew. Vendetta gets ripped out as well. Blizzo in a lot of trouble. Method Black looking to close out the game. Looney, is he going to be able to avoid crowd control? That is the question. If they don't get crowd control on Looney, I just don't see Blizzo falling down.
All right, Blizzo recovering from another attack. He has Touch of Death available. That bright red icon below Blizzo's health is going to increase his damage quite a lot when it starts to glow as he has activated it. When is Blizzo going to pull the trigger on that is the question. Chaz is crowd controlled. It would be a decent time right now, but it looks like he wants to hold on to it for a rainy day. You see the frozen orb placed down. Raikou looking to counterattack. 2 members being cleaved down. Maximum pressure with Blizzard potentially hitting multiple targets as well in the near future. And that has evened out the mana. Great counter pressure from Method Black to stay in it.
Yeah, definitely. Wildcard Gaming starting to build a little bit momentum. They do manage to get the Iron Bark from Chaz. If we look at mana, Chaz at around 65%. Looney very similar, so mana even for both these teams. And we are at 2% dampening at this point in the game. And for Method Black, they're going after Blizzo quite a bit in the early game, but once it gets 35% dampening, if we do get to that point, that's when Zeepai becomes a real vulnerability for Wildcard Gaming.
Oh, nice. Beautifully done. Waz catches Looney drinking and saps him out of combat into a polymorph. Now, can they shred through the defense of Blizzo and find the kill because they've got the crowd control? Zeepai is trying to deny it with anti-magic zone. It needs to be enough. Chaz gets stopped by Zeepai. He's not able to cyclone again. Zeepai shuts down that attempt entirely by himself. Now counter pressure onto Waz. Maybe it's not going to be enough. Blizzo on the run. Gets Ice Nova, and Raikou tries to snipe him. Barely holding on with that Expel Harm. Waz gets gripped back by Zeepai. But Looney needs to get to Blizzo as soon as possible. He's doing his best to make his way there, but Raikou's making it difficult. Blizzo recovers. Clutch play by Blizzo.
Yeah, that was a really nice setup by Waz, landing that sap onto Looney, really setting up his team. Now you can see Chaz, he's sitting down for a drink. Is he going to go straight to full mana? Looney trying to deny him. It does a good job, but Chaz did manage to recover some mana. Now Blizzo, still no defensive cooldowns. Good damage here from Method Black. They're really punishing Blizzo in this matchup. But Blizzo's been doing a great job managing his defensive cooldowns, kiting away. That's going to be really key if he wants to survive in this matchup.
Temporal Shield soaking up this damage, healing Raikou back to full. A Dark Sim polymorph. Well done by Zeepai. Unfortunately breaking there a bit early. it's not going to net them too much of significance. Mana is totally even. Method Black look to tie it up in game number 5. Can they manage to pull it off here? Bring it forward. Best of 7 grand finals. BlizzCon champion title on the line in this series. An entire year's worth of work.
I feel like I've seen this series so many times throughout this year. These two teams are absolutely the best two teams in Europe, and they are showcasing it here in this series. Blizzo still taking some damage as Raikou and Waz still just tunneling down Blizzo, making sure he's caught into stuns, really make him think twice before chasing Raikou into the open. There's a smoke bomb onto Blizzo. Are they going to be able to force out some defensive? Touch of Karma gets ripped out. Now Blizzo's going to be really vulnerable moving forward. Looney sitting in stealth, hasn't really been able to go for any shrinks, but at 15% dampening, these healers are going to start losing these opportunities to sneak away.
Slight lead now for Method Black in terms of mana, and that appears to be their main point for a win condition. Focus down Blizzo in the early game, pre 30% dampening, then later on they can switch to Zeepai. That is something we have seen them initiate time and time again in this particular matchup. They're only a few minutes away from that main objective. Wildcard Gaming, they're the ones who need to get something done soon, but they're constantly on the defensive. Looney fully polymorphed. Blizzo alone. Waz looks to close it out. He's got nothing by himself. He needs support from the team. Zeepai, though, is fortunately there with the anti-magic zone protecting him and keeping him alive throughout that endless crowd control seemingly on Looney.
Yeah, it's not over yet. Blizzo, he still hasn't managed to get away. Tries to go for the grapple weapon. He's trying to run. He's trying to hide. Looney, he needs to top him off. He needs to get the heals. Fist of Fury with that Turbo Fist is a 100% parry. He's using to avoid some damage from Waz. Now crossing the map. And this is exactly what Method Black wants. If they can keep Blizzo defensive in this matchup, just buy enough time to get into dampening, that's when Zeepai is inevitably going to fall over. Now they're finally finding damage, swapping targets onto Zeepai. And Looney, he has to start really getting some heals rolling. Zeepai could easily just go down. Do they have any crowd control on Looney? Chaz is trying to push forward and land it. In the meantime, Blizzo trying to solo down Chaz. Trades out his Touch of Death, his most powerful offensive cooldown, not really netting too much.
Only getting the bark skin from Chaz, and I can't imagine they're going to get another chance to switch. Gladiator's medallion, but he's so far away from the fight. As long as Chaz plays max distance, Looney tries to stop a drink, but while he's going across the field to stop it, Zeepai is taking huge damage. He can't really afford to spend a lot of time searching for Chaz. That means Chaz is going to get a further lead in terms of mana. Zeepai has to trade anti-magic shield. Wildcard Gaming continue pushing forward onto Raikou, looking to get the first ice block as soon as possible, interrupting him. Now Raikou safely placed into midfield. Mana evening out between the teams as they're so evenly matched. Wildcard Gaming has struggled to find an answer for Method Black the entire year, and they're managing to potentially do it in the grand finals.
Yeah, Raikou in a little trouble. There's the Iron Bark that trades out, does keep Raikou alive. A little bit greedy, but manages to hold on to his ice block. Method Black, this is the moment in the game where they just have to go after Zeepai. They need to keep him defensive, force him to use the death strikes. But in the meantime, Blizzo and Zeepai, they're actually getting decent damage rolling onto Waz. Bash over onto Looney. Chaz is looking for the crowd control to close out the game. Zeepai's low. Does he have any healing? Maledict lands. Waz and Raikou, they just need a little bit more damage. He saps it! The crowd control. He gets the sap onto Looney. But do they have the damage to take down Zeepai? He has the anti-magic shell. He might be able to survive.
And Waz is spending all of his time crowd controlling. Raikou couldn't finish the job. Waz needs to do all of the heavy lifting here. Crowd control Looney now making his way back to Zeepai, but there's defensive options. Looney can trinket blind, and despite that power play, potentially Waz just needed to get back into the fight. It seemed like he wanted to style on Looney, maybe blind the trinket, but he didn't spend enough time on target to deal enough damage to close it out. And now potentially falling behind on mana, and potentially an opening for Wildcard Gaming to take it and move to match point. Only 2 more wins for Wildcard Gaming to become a BlizzCon champion. Only 2 more wins for the greatest achievement in World of Warcraft PvP.
Yeah, 36% dampening. This is going to get so scary for both these druids. A huge hit onto Raikou. They could start forcing out the ice blocks, and it could just be one after another. Chaz's mana isn't doing great. Looney actually has a mana lead. This is a great situation for Wildcard Gaming to be in, but they have to be careful because Zeepai, he's so vulnerable. Once those death strikes don't heal,
beautiful.
He can just fall down. This could be it. Smoke bomb into a kidney shot. Raikou with the icy veins. Massive damage coming in. A full polymorph snuck onto Looney. Zeepai, how are you going to get out of this one? Anti-magic shell trades out. Does he have any healing? He just has to hold on a little bit longer, and I think he might be able to do it.
Blizzo stalls it. Zeepai is cowering at the corner on the pillars. Looney and Blizzo are both crowd controlled. Waz is slowly marching to close this game out, reconnecting
screen. Zeepai holds on. He held that Battlemaster in his back pocket to buy a little bit more time, but Looney just can't make it there. Is he going to stay alive? No! Method Black tie it up.
They are going to manage to make this a 2-2, but it was not easy, not at all. Ultimately, Zeepai going to start becoming that juicy target as you hit that critical mass and dampening. He's not going to be able to death strike up, but that's only part of the story.
Yeah, that's the thing. Looney had a really, really difficult choice there. Chaz was sitting down drinking. They had the mana lead. If they can keep stopping those drinks, all of a sudden they'll be able to actually, win the game here. Looney goes for the aggressive play, but a slight mistake there. Raikou sniping a nice sheep there as Looney is about to try to take Chaz out of stealth with that vortex. Unfortunately, Zeepai, he does survive that situation, but the momentum and the CC setup that comes out of that mistake is just enough for Method Black to tie up the series. You see Waz right there, hungry for the kill, gets the kidney shot, gets the Vendetta rolling, and that Battlemaster gonna fade as well, and making Zeepai just completely fall down there.
Now, I actually think that the next game, obviously, when you are in a best of 7, there's going to be a lot of pressure on this next one because it does determine who's going to be on match point. You start also looking at who's going to have the advantage, potentially, if it does go all the way to that game 7, as far as the maps are concerned. But I think one of the real reasons this next game is what we really need to pay attention to is based off of the fact that we've seen Wildcard Gaming cool off in quite a few series. Right now, when there's a lot of stuff happening with maps going back and forth, and the selection of whether you're going to go big, you're going to go small, a lot of compositional switches, it's hard to say, okay, are they cooling off like we've seen them maybe cool off in some other series? But just based off of gut feeling, Ven, do you feel like they are starting to slow down? They're not playing at that level that they were in the first game.
I don't think so. Honestly, I feel like Wildcard Gaming is winning the games that they need to win. So as long as they can keep winning on their map picks, then that's obviously going to fare well for them, and they can ultimately bring it to a game 7. I think because Method Black is such a strong team and they have such a versatile roster, for Wildcard Gaming, they keep finding themselves in the situation where they are kind of getting counterpicked, and they're putting up a good fight.
And that's very important to keep in mind because that does basically say a lot of it's going to be the mind games that go on in these drafts. We're going to take a few moments here to actually get that draft underway, and when we return, we're going to figure out who is going to get on match point in our grand final.
BlizzCon 2019 is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of BlizzCon. Facebook Gaming, a world of play. Samsung SSD, performance gamers trust. Corsair, do your thing. And by NVIDIA.
Have you come to trade? Don't die out there.
Something. The dunes.
BlizzCon 2019 is brought to you by T-Mobile. Their newest signal goes farther than ever, and it's built 5G ready. MSI, True Gaming. Intel, the official CPU partner of BlizzCon. Cisco, the official networking partner of BlizzCon. And by HyperX. We're all gamers.
I mean, we got third place in the summer finals, and we showed that we are, at least individually, like, we have the talent to win. So maybe we can like surprise some people, and maybe we can do it. But it would mean everything to me.
When you look at Wildcard Gaming as a team and what they've been able to accomplish throughout the years, this is a squad that traditionally plays spoiler to teams. Time and time again, they create upsets, they just wreck brackets, they make for these incredibly difficult matchups for other teams. They just make a mess of other squads. And then they're going to be going up against, what? The favorite to win the entire tournament in Method Black. This is the perfect matchup. Wildcard Gaming thrives in matchups against the favorites. Wildcard Gaming is great at doing the impossible. And Method Black, they're in a situation where they need to overcome the roadblock that they've had as a team. There's no question in anyone's mind that this is one of the most dominant teams that has ever played the game, that has ever been together in World of Warcraft Arena history. But can you be the best without winning BlizzCon? They're going to try to get it done today. To be watching and to cover all of the action, we got Zico, Super Tees, and Van Rookie, and now we also have the draft in front of our faces, and we can start to talk about everything that we see throughout the entirety of this matchup. And we're about to hit the point where Blades Edge Arena is going to determine who gets on match point.
Blades Edge Arena almost never gets selected. It really only ever gets picked by Wildcard Gaming in this particular matchup. And they have a great win condition on it, as it really allows them to stay on target, that being Raikou a lot better with the narrow corridors of the bridge and the ramps, and they were able to exploit it. We saw them against Cloud9 earlier on in the tournament. However, it's not entirely a given that they will take this, and Method Black can take the swing match away from Wildcard Gaming and move to match point.
And Ben, you were basically saying Wildcard Gaming has been winning all of the maps that they need to win. This is definitely one that they need to win.
Yeah, I mean, for Wildcard Gaming, like Sid kind of said, Blades Edge Arena has been their playground, especially with this composition. It basically allows two different things. It allows Blizzo to have really high uptime on Raikou. It can be difficult to kite around on the bridge as a Frost Mage. In addition, there's not much line of sight for Chaz, so it's a lot easier for Maro to push in, get those polymorphs out of the Dragon's Breath. Maybe Looney can push in as well. And it also gives Looney a little bit of access to that Z access with that bridge. It's a really good pick by Wildcard Gaming, and I think Method Black is going to have to play a phenomenal game if they want to win this one.
Yeah, I think that's kind of been the case throughout the entirety of the series. I think we've seen a lot in all of these games too that really just tests all these teams. I mean, you start off with Wildcard Gaming in that first game just playing out of their mind. You look at a player like Maro who's just able to get CSs that are just absolutely nutty. Then Method Black, they're always able to regain their cool. They're able to get the work done. Blades Edge Arena is going to be a very important map for this series.
Yeah, Blades Edge Arena, they love to pick this map because of the reasons that you guys mentioned. The Ring of Peace, knocking people out of line of sight, and most importantly, of course, Raikou, he's gonna go through hell trying to kite on this map, because you run through the bridge, you have nice space there, but then the bridge runs out, and where do you go? Do you go downstairs? You're gonna land inside your healer. We'll find out.
This series has been back and forth. It changes on this map. Finally, we are going to see one of these teams pull ahead and try to take down BlizzCon 2019.
All right, Blizzo intercepted by Waz, looking like the Warrior as the main focus point here for Method Black, not the Mage as would have been anticipated. Looney looks to counter-engage though, catching a paralysis into leg sweep, setting up the team quite effectively. However, Maro denied on further crowd control. Now Chaz looks to move over and probably get some crowd control of his own in the near future. Blizzo pushes him back. He's not able to find it. They're actually going after Chaz.
Yeah, a little bit of damage on Chaz. I don't know if it's going to net too much. Avatar pulled out by Blizzo, getting a little bit of damage, rolling a full blind onto Looney. He's playing Relentless, so there's no Gladiator's medallion available. And it looks like Method Black, they're actually going to be going after Blizzo. Blind into Sap onto Looney. Can they get the dive by the sword? Do they have the damage? Unfortunately, no. Looney does manage to find the life cocoon to stabilize Wildcard Gaming.
All right, Waz going to pull back for a moment, realizing that the kill is lost, as life cocoon is quite powerful from Looney. Looney repositioning, Morrow blinking over to try and go after Waz once again. Chaz in center bridge. When is he going to make the move? Double Dragon's Breath, Ring of Frost being casted here, trying to find it, gets denied unfortunately. Now Chaz looks to Cyclone. Cyclone on Morrow, Polymorph on Looney. This means that Blizzo is alone for a few seconds. What can he do while he is alone to stay alive? Spell Reflect, a good option, denying any damage from Raikou. Buying him a few seconds. Now Looney is out. He's going to land a double leg sweep, buying Blizzo an opportunity to counter aggress. Morrow secures a counter spell. Chaz can't heal for 2 more seconds. If Blizzo can stay on target, it could be devastating. They don't have any further crowd control, but Raikou is going to jump off the side of the bridge. Chaz Iron Barks, and Raikou stabilizes.
Yeah, it's going to be the Battle Masters, but that's a great trade for Combustion from Morrow. Raikou with beautiful defensive positioning. Wildcard Gaming, they wanted to get aggressive. Raikou realizing the situation, getting out of town, going down to the floor portion of the map, manages to avoid a lot of damage. Now he's going to have to reposition to get back on top. They need to get crowd control on Looney if they want to have hope to take down Blizzo at this point in the game.
All right, Blizzo hovering at 50% health and in a full stun. Are they going to go for a smoke bomb play? Not deciding to pull the trigger on that just yet. Waz Shadow stepping over to disrupt Morrow. Greater Pyroblast being channeled, now interrupted. Waz shuts it down. Raikou building up icicles for the next attack. Both teams taking a moment of pause here in the center bridge. Morrow sees Chaz drinking. He tries to blink to stop it. Raikou intercepts him with a polymorph of his own, but inevitably does get sniped with the Flame Strike. Intimidating Shout is landed. Do they have follow-up? They don't. Intimidating Shout not going to be enough on its own. Blizzo tries to buy more time with Stormbolt, but Morrow is not in position to polymorph. Change the crowd control chain has been now disrupted. Chaz going to be jumping off the side of the bridge. I am wondering if Waz is going to follow him shortly after. Chaz doesn't want to get caught in that Ring of Frost, but now he's into paralysis. His mage is at very dangerously low health. Ice block at 10%, and Raikou stays alive, but a close call. Chaz's repositioning there, going to cost a cooldown.
Yeah, what a scary moment for Raikou, and that's what happens when you kind of just sit in the face of Blizzo and Morrow. Eventually, they will be able to punish you. Morrow looking for a greater Pyroblast. Raikou with 1 ice block available. We're at around 3 minutes elapsed in the game. Things are looking pretty good for Wildcard Gaming. For Method Black, we need to see crowd control on Looney. Unless their tactic is to stall till dampening and eventually take down Blizzo, they need to push in, land the polymorphs, land the cyclones like we see right now, and this is when they can get aggressive on Blizzo.
All right, Looney in a polymorph at the moment. Who's the target? Is it still Blizzo? Blizzo denies the kill with Spell Reflect. War Banner down, disrupting it further. Raikou is taking a beating. He's going to jump off the side of the bridge. Waz holds Blizzo at bay, snaring the whole team up and trying to allow time for Chaz to recover. But now Waz has been left behind. He is going to abandon the mission, jumping off the side of the bridge. But now Raikou pushed forward, maybe a little bit too prematurely. Blizzo is absolutely chopping him up. If Blizzo can stay on target, it could easily be the second ice block so early on.
Good positioning there by Chaz and Raikou. That was a scary moment. Blizzo getting low. Looney needs to find the heals. Does he have them? He does. Blizzo gets topped off. Nicely done by Wildcard Gaming. That was scary for Method Black, but with good positioning, they were able to recover in that situation. Now they need to continue this pressure onto Blizzo. Try to even find just an interrupt onto Looney to start getting some pressure rolling.
All right, Blizzo stays alive. Close calls back and forth between these teams. So evenly matched in the grand finals. Game number 5, best of 7. Looney in a blind. This is a dangerous situation. How is Blizzo going to deal with it? Waz's polymorph. Looks like Blizzo doesn't have to do too much. Morrow is doing all the work for him. Totally shutting down Method Black. Looney connects the life cocoon, and Blizzo was stabilized. Now Method Black with a big mistake. They stack up for a triple leg sweep. It's a good opportunity for Wildcard Gaming, but Raikou equally so answers it with a temporal shield, taking 0 damage as a result. In that position there, any mistake could cost them their tournament lives. We have now hit the 5-minute mark, which means dampening is coming into an effect, reducing healing at a stacking margin. And as that gets higher, the damage doesn't go anywhere but up at the same time, which means this is going to be overwhelming. And on Blade's Edge Arena, it's going to be chaotic, as members can jump off the side of the bridge, but they'll jump off at the cost of the line of sight of their healers to try and stay alive.
Yep, full intimidating shout, but unfortunately Blizzo not able to really capitalize on that situation. Method Black looking to get aggressive. Kidney shot on Blizzo. Interrupt on Morrow. Polymorph on Looney. Great crowd control. Blizzo, what are you going to do? Let's see if he can survive. Life Cocoon does ultimately land by Looney. Nicely done. That should keep Blizzo nice and healthy, but I just don't know if he has the heals. No interrupt available for Raikou for just a few more seconds, but Blizzo does manage to get topped off. Nicely done by Method Black. If we look at mana right now, there's actually a slight lead for Chaz, which is surprising.
All right, let's see if they can get something done here. Stunning Blizzo. Where's crowd control on Looney? They don't have it. He's just powering through. Grapple weapon. Denies damage from Waz. Raikou is polymorphed. He can't do any damage either. Great coordination there by Looney and Maro to shut down the attack of Method Black. Waz is retreating away, looking for a re-stealth, trying to benefit from the subterfuge, which allows him bonus damage on that Garrote. It's going to be huge pressure. Chaz stepping over to interrupt polymorph, but he can't stop Ring. Chaz is crowd controlled. Raiku's on the run. Blizzo wants to make it, but he can't. He's switching back to Waz, trying to catch him off guard. Waz going to jump off the side, but now Chaz is exposed up in center. He has to jump off. Great coordination there by Method Black, despite all of the chaos, totally shutting down that assault.
Yeah, the pressure's still rolling here for Wildcard Gaming, but Method Black, they've had good positioning, and now with an interrupt on Looney, it could be Blizzo once again, and as dampening gets higher and higher, it becomes really difficult for the Mistweaver Monk to keep up the Arms Warrior. Maro actually taking some damage as Method Black turned their attention onto him. Temporal Shield doesn't do too much. Big damage here from Raikou. Maro manages to hold on to his Cauterize. Just not enough damage, but that was a really good attempt by Method Black.
Pretty big mana advantage right now for Method Black. Another minute and 10 on Raiku's second ice block. I would say that Method Black are looking in a confident position to take the swing match and advance to match point. Wildcard Gaming need to get some work done here soon if they want to advance and take that title of BlizzCon champion.
Yep, and I mean, this is a best of 7, and we're all tied up 2-2. These two teams are playing out of their minds so far in the series, bringing in lots of different compositions, but these are the compositions these teams are known for. Nice setup here by Maro, full Ring of Frost onto Chaz, but Raikou just in a situation where he's avoiding a lot of damage. It doesn't look like they have the setup. Really good heads-up play by Method Black. Anytime there's crowd control on Chaz, Raikou and Waz are just immediately running out of danger.
All right, counterspell on Chaz. He can't heal for a moment. Now activating Iron Bark as soon as possible to then enable his team to get aggressive and go after Blizzo. Is there further follow-up for Looney? A full blind. This is dangerous. How is Blizzo going to respond? He's isolated. He's all alone. His teammates can't support him. He's Bladestorming. He Warbanners. That reduces some crowd control for his team, but there's still more. Spell Reflect on 10%. Buys him just enough time for Life Cocoon. Once again, now Watt's in trouble. He feints at low health. There's no Iron Bark for him. This may be the evasion if he's not careful. Blizzo can't keep up the chase. Instead, trying to go back over onto Raikou. These teams so evenly matched. Smoke bomb attempt here. They're trying to make Blizzo panic, but he is not panicking under the pressure.
Absolutely not. Now Raikou gets interrupted. Can they take him down? Ice block now available. That was a bit scary, but a polymorph over onto Looney. Raikou still managing to find the crowd control, and they get the die by the sword. This is a big victory for Method Black, but Raikou needs to be careful. He's getting so low into execute range. Just a bit more damage, and they can take him down. Temporal Shield, huge plays there by Raikou in order to hold on to that ice block, and Wildcard Gaming cannot believe it.
All right, Raikou is just going to chill out here on this edge of the map while Chaz gets through crowd control. Waz was left behind again, though. What's he going to do in this position? Blizzo is marching forward to find the execute. He has evasion. He has cloak. It would be a throw to go down at this point. He needs to be careful. He's going to sprint off the side, concentrated flame on himself defensively, and wait for Chaz to get out of crowd control. What are Wildcard Gaming going to do while Waz retreats? Chaz reconnects, but they're going to go after Raikou. Raikou barely able to jump down in time, in line of sight of Chaz, and this battle is going to continue on the bottom side.
Yeah, but Waz, he's still in trouble. He's in execute range. Evasion, Cloak of Shadows, everything trades out for Method Black in order to stay in this game. That was a great offensive push by Wildcard Gaming. Now the pressure is being reversed, but the Life Cocoon from Looney completely denies that attempt by Waz and Raikou, keeping him nice and healthy so he can charge on and keep this pressure up.
This is actually insane between these teams. Such close calls. Mana totally even. Almost the 10-minute mark between these European titans battling for BlizzCon champion. Who's going to take it? It's too close to call. Ring of Frost attempt gets shut down. Perfect denial by Raikou. This now means that Blizzo will be in trouble. Cycloned at low health. This sets up Method Black to potentially push for the win. If they've got a kidney shot, they could have a kill. But a greater Pyroblast sneaks in on Waz at the same time. Potentially cross-kill. War Banner on the blind. Beautiful play by Blizzo, but it may not matter. He's so very low on health. Battle Master Master at 10%. Is he going to be able to hold on? That Battle Master is going to be fading, and with it, it's bonus health as well. Blizzo stuns Waz. He tries to stall. That Battle Master is a ticking time bomb, but he manages to do it. Looney connects Life Cocoon, and Blizzo survives by the skin of his teeth.
Nicely done, and now Morrow looking to reverse the pressure. Greater Pyroblast, can he find a second? Unfortunately not. Waz manages to get out of sight. Nicely done, but now Blizzo in a kidney shot. Do they have the damage to take him down? Looney in a good position right now to try to find some heals, but at this point in dampening, it is so difficult.
They're going for it. He's going for it.
Blizzo and Waz trading blow for blow. Vanished by Waz to avoid the damage, and both these melee are very scared in this situation.
Blizzo butting heads at 10% to find the kill with Waz, not finding it. Both teams restabilized. Slight mana lead at 11 minutes here in game number 5 of the grand finals of BlizzCon. Blizzo stunned up, once again isolated. Morrow can't support. Is he going to pull it off again? Just a few more seconds, another polymorph comes in. Spell Reflect denies the Ice Lance Flurry combo on Blizzo. Beautifully timed there, but this is Icy Veins. Raikou is still quite a menace. Blizzo leaps over, looks to deny it further, switching to Raikou. Chaz is interrupted, he can't heal. Greater Pyroblast is being channeled. Morrow gets one, big connected. Raikou's gonna respect that Greater Pyro and Ice Block, but cancel it to go for the kill on Blizzo. They Cyclone Blizzo at low health, denying the recovery of Looney. Is Looney gonna try and drink? I don't think he can get away with that at this point in time. He's playing very far away from the fight, trying to max range or crowd control and stabilize Blizzo, but at 41% healing reduction, that is such a difficult task to deal with.
Yeah, Blizzo has to die by the sword, rotated back up. He might have to use it preemptively to just avoid some damage. Raikou has one ice block left. He's not going to be the best target. There's a full kidney shot. Looney rolls in, trying to get some heals, but the Vortex brings it back. Nicely done by Chaz, setting up the polymorph, but Blizzo still just running, hiding. He drops out the War Banner to avoid some crowd control on Looney, but he just can't get topped off. There's too much dampening.
Combustion pop. Morrow looking to burn down Raikou and take game 5. Huge connect here. Raikou has to use his second ice block, and suddenly he doesn't really have anything to work with. Blizzo has died by the sword. If Blizzo could just stay aggressive, stay on target, they could close it out here and now in game number 5 on their home territory. Pre-die by the sword of the kidney shot. Blizzo is reading Method Black like a book throughout this grand final, looking to close it out in a composition matchup that we thought could not be beat. The Rogue Mage Druid we thought was the best, but Wildcard Gaming looked to prove that wrong.
Yeah, but Blizzo's still not topped off. Method Black in a prime position to close this game out. Blizzo's moving forward. They want to take down Raikou. Chaz and a polymorph gets interrupted. Do they have the damage? Blizzo could easily fall as well.
He's going
Kidney shot, cheap shot onto Blizzo. Raikou hovering around 50% health with his temporal shield, trying to stay alive, but at 48% dampening. Which one of these two players is going to fall first?
No mana left for Looney. Dampening is at 50%. Watch sets up the Shadow Step kick, and that could easily close it out. Rallying Cry available. Life Cocoon, not that great of a heal at 50% dampening, only buying 3 seconds. There's no momentum. Wildcard Gaming, they've lost all of their steam. If Method Black just keep this up, Blizzo is going to be overwhelmed. He's bladestorming. He's trying to go for it at 10% life. Blizzo is going for the kill in the grand finals.
Yeah, and they might be able to get it. Leg sweep onto Chaz. He manages to get the Iron Bar, but it's Blizzo that's low as well.
It's
Wildcard Gaming, can they do it? Blizzo with a kidney shot. Watts trying to take him down. They need to take down Blizzo or Raikou's in so much trouble. Morrow setting up his team. Raikou barely surviving. Blizzo 10% health. What is going on? Mid-range. Temporal shield. Wildcard Gaming. Unbelievable.
Blizzo is undoubtedly the best warrior in World of Warcraft. Wasso is playing it out. Is he gonna do it?
He gets the kidney shot. No way. Turn it around. Can they get the cross kill? That is the question. Blizzo needs to run. Looney has no mana. There is a situation where we could go down to a 2v2. Blizzo and Looney, they need to play it safe. Morrow has to get the polymorphs rolling or just get the damage on Waz. If they can take down Waz, the game will be over. And I think they're going to be able to do it. Waz and execute range, the leg sweep.
Unbelievable. Slam dunk.
My goodness, Blizzo is an unstoppable force. Literally nothing can stop him. Roots, nothing. This man just had a 30-minute go to ultimately take down his opponents. It just did not stop at all. And think about how big the stakes really are here. If you see Method take that, they then have the advantage in the Game 7 if it goes all the way there.
Look at this play right here. Looney ports into the bomb, gets the disarm. Chaz preemptively vortexes, the port there, and Blizzo preemptively war banners the preemptive Ursul's vortex on the preemptive port. Like, what is going on? These guys are literally playing 3D chess in the future. These guys are insane.
With a time machine.
Blizzo is from the future right now, just sitting in his car, preemptively war bannering blinds, preemptively war bannering everything, charging in to kill people on 10% HP, and he gets it. Then this is the second time. He was chasing Waz a little bit earlier on as well on 5% HP or 10% HP, and it pays off. And that is why he is so insane at World of Warcraft. Not just warrior, but reading a situation like that, you gotta be a god at this game.
Blizzo is digging deep for the win. This man is ultimately playing 3D chess in the future underwater. He's absolutely unstoppable.
Unbelievable.
The question is, are they going to be able to close it out now? I think you find yourself on match point. That is such a crazy win, but it has been that back and forth. Ven's pointed it out so many times that it has been that back and forth with the maps. This is great for them because they do secure that Game 7 advantage if it does go all the way there. But man, they really do every time make believers out of us on the desk that they might it out.
I mean, they're playing out of their minds. I've lost my voice at this point. I mean, for Method Black, they are in a situation where it is their map as well as their composition pick, so it's going to be a good opportunity for them to really tie it up. But going to that Game 7, Wildcard Gaming will have the advantage, but I mean, that game was so close. It really could have gone either way. Method Black just needed a little bit more damage a few times in the game, and it could have been a completely different result.
I'm still blown away. I mean, you're just in a position like that at BlizzCon. Everything is on the line. $330,000 prize pool, and bigger than that, actually being the champion throughout the entirety of the year. And you just keep on going. There was no fear in him at all, and it seemed like it might be the right play to just back up, simmer down a little bit, and wait it out. But Sid, he just sticks to his target like glue. And ultimately, what is Method Black going to be looking to do with it all on the line in this next game?
I mean, Blizzo is just not afraid of death. He just stared death in the eyes and just said, I do not care, and ran Method Black down. And now if you look at the maps, we are not going to be able to play Tovaron again. We're not going to be able to play Ashamanes again. Those are the best maps for Method Black. So now they are put on match point, and maybe they have to go to a neutral territory, something like Tiger's Peak, but they're not going to have the map advantage because they've already played their best ones.
Yeah, and we're not going to be in a shortage of those smaller maps. That's going to be something that's definitely available when we get to the Game 7, potentially. And that's why we keep really bringing up having that pick advantage based off of the way that the format does work if you're able to establish that momentum inside of the series. But just think about what these teams have done throughout their careers. Method Black looking to potentially not only just win this BlizzCon, but create the next great dynasty in World of Warcraft. They definitely did it in the season, looking dominant. Even the year before, when you look at seasonal play, they look dominant, but they need to start pulling down BlizzCons if they want to join the ranks of Swapsy on their team with the legacies he's already created as far as BlizzCon wins go. But then you look on the side of Wildcard Gaming, and there are no shortage of champions at all. And the name of their brand has literally been playing spoiler to so many of these teams. And they're trying to just get that big win here on the stage. And now all of the chips are in their favor.
Absolutely crazy stuff. I mean, both of these teams, essentially, they have one person who has won BlizzCon before, and then everybody else, they're getting it for the first time here. And you can tell they really want it. Tiger's Peak, of course, gonna be the next selected map here. And it's not a big surprise here to see. It's pretty much the last big map that you can pick if you're Method Black.
It says if necessary. I don't think we need that. I think it's Game 7. I think we're going all the way.
You think we are? Do you feel the same way? I mean, after that last game, I mean, is that something that's momentum right there?
I feel like either one of these teams could take any game. I really do.
Yeah,
Could close out here. Method Black, if they want to stay in it, they're gonna. I mean, although it is their map and comp advantage, they're gonna have to play a game out of their minds. I mean, they're gonna have to play for that BlizzCon championship. For Wildcard Gaming, they're gonna be going back to that melee cleave, the Frost Death Knight this time with the Windwalker as well as the Restoration Druid. So this has kind of been their consistent blind pick so far in this grand finals. For Method Black, they have a couple different options. They can go with the Mage Lock Druid or the Rogue Mage Druid. And I think because it is a Frost Death Knight, it's likely we see that Wizard Cleave, the Mage Lock Druid.
Yeah, so Zico feels the same way. I think you keep looking at what Wildcard, when they really have performed too, it definitely is when we start seeing Blizzo on the Warrior, right? When we start actually seeing Morrow too playing out of his mind. will this composition be enough to close it for them? Will they be BlizzCon champions after this map? Will Tiger's Peak be the deciding ground? But we still have to wait a little bit less than 30 seconds here to see what Method Black is going to lock in potentially the last game of BlizzCon.
It could be the last game for them of 2019 in terms of tournament play. Obviously, they're going to take absolutely every last second to consider all of their options. Is the Mage Warlock Druid their best option? It's not Ashermanes, it's not Tolron, it's a little bit smaller. Wildcard Gaming can escape to safety a lot easier and potentially doesn't work for them. Are they going to put everything on the line on Swapsy's Warlock? Have they polished it enough? They're going to. They're bringing Swapsy back in. They're tagging Waz out for match point.
As much as we've talked about Swapsy's Warlock before we actually got here to BlizzCon, Swapsy on the BlizzCon stage, it just works, period. I don't care what you put him on, it just works. He is going to be potentially go down in history as one of the players who just ends up winning BlizzCon more than anyone else. It's going to be very tough for anybody to catch up with him, especially with him still competing, right? Being that person of the dynasty to now join a new team and try to grab more wins. I think you have to put your faith in Swapsy if you are Method Black and you want to tie up this series here. What's that win condition going to look like for Method, though?
Yeah, Method Black, they just want to, basically, if they can force Blizzo to run back, if they can force Zeepai to run back behind the pillar with enough casted damage, and by just shutting them down with all of that spammable CC with the polymorphs and the fears, then Chaz can reset his mana bar and drink. Once that happens, they're going to shut down Looney's every single attempt of drinking. He's going to have a Fella Hunter, basically hitting him the whole time from Swapsy, so he's not going to be able to drink at all. And eventually, they're going to be able to get into that chokehold position and just basically win on that mana game. But before that happens, if Wildcard Gaming can kind of solidify their lead and keep the pressure going and not get forced off of that, open area, they can easily just close out the series here and just become BlizzCon champions.
Man, just thinking about everything that they had to do to even get to this grand final.
I feel like I just want to say, I don't think a lot of people expected Wildcard Gaming to be in this position.
I didn't.
No, I don't think any of us did.
That's like exactly what I was about to say, right? you look at what they had to do to get here. I think we all expected Cloud9 to be in the grand final. And they took out Cloud9
Twice.
They literally took them out twice to be here. And I think Wildcard Gaming throughout the season at certain points looked lackluster. And the question was, when is this individual skill going to turn into something greater? When is it going to turn into a team? And when is that team going to turn into a team that can take down big wins? Yes, they were always in second place. They were always in Method Black's shadow throughout the entirety of the year. You didn't talk about the top two teams in Europe. You talked about Method Black. Well, they're trying to slap those words out of our mouth. Wildcard Gaming is trying to erase every blunder they had throughout the year. They're trying to become your BlizzCon champions. They can do it right here on Tiger's Peak. And before these gates open, BlizzCon, make some noise for our two teams.
Here we go! Game number 6 and match point. Nobody thought that Wildcard Gaming was going to be able to pull it off, but this is their last chance to do it, and they are doing it. Blizzo is undoubtedly the best warrior in the world, now looking to prove his skills and prowess on the Windwalker as well.
Yeah, things in this, like when these two teams have been playing these matchups so far, it has been advantage for Method Black, but for Wildcard Gaming, right now they've been playing on fire. And with this composition, there are moments where they can't close out the game. As Swapsy, Raikou, or Chaz, they just trip out a little bit in this game. There are opportunities, and you can bet Wildcard Gaming are going to be looking for that.
All right, early disruption here from Wildcard Gaming. Likely to be a little bit of a slower paced matchup between these teams. Of course, Wildcard Gaming, they're going to be focusing on defense and avoiding the Destruction Warlock, and then looking for triple pushes as a team. They're going to be extending the match, trying to find a kill onto the Warlock in dampening. Now, Method Black, they're just going to be hammering down, focusing on triangle positioning. This means that Raikou will be far away from Swapsy, likely on the right-hand side. They're trying to punish that overextension by gripping Raikou in, stunning him up and bursting him down. Temporal Shield, though, will be more than enough for him to stabilize. Swapsy is pulling the trigger quite early on with that Infernal. Big Chaos Bolt lobbed over onto Zeepai. Looney stunned up by Chaz, but Blizzo has already retreated to safety. Zeepai is hiding at the balcony. They're going after Looney! It's game 6. They look to advance to the finals for potentially a bursty kill. Looney going to respect the swap, trade out both of his Iron Bark and Bark Skin to survive it, not getting caught off guard.
Yeah, definitely a good decision there by Looney in this spot matchup, especially with his Gladiator's Medallion. And when Raikou and Swapsy are on top of him, that's when he's going to be really wanting to trade out those defensive cooldowns. Forward to play a little bit aggressive. Chaz having a lot of mana. It's going to be difficult for Blizzo and Zeepot to actually take someone down. So Raikou, Swapsy, Chaz, they can play aggressive, look for those one-shot kills, and if they can find it, they can get a quick win.
All right, Wildcard Gaming dealing with that early Infernal quite effectively. No major defensive cooldowns forced on their side. Raikou looking to build up Icicles for a push. Swapsy having a difficult time, 1 versus 1 on Blizzo around the corner. Blizzo actually just choosing to retreat away. Wildcard Gaming are avoiding the fight at all costs in the early rounds of this match before dampening. I am wondering who is going to be their target later on, having seen them play so defensively. This Death Grip stun strategy appears to be the main point of offense for them. Swapsy is not running the Demonic Circle, so he will not be able to escape from those, but Thorns is activated. Wildcard Gaming do not want to attack into that and take redirected damage, so they are trying to retreat away, but Looney is caught out in the open in a bash. Mortal Coil combo. Swapsy gets shut down by Blizzo. Looney needs to get to a pillar. He does manage to do so. Chaz is just taking him out. We saw Chaz find a kill on Ashamanes, and Chaz could be the X factor here in game 6.
Yeah, and Swapsy has the Infernals rotating back up. If they can find that combo, the bash into the Mortal Coil, into the Infernal stun, and Raikou has damage available, that's when they can really punish Looney and try to take him down. And these are the setups we've seen from Cloud9 in the past. Method Black has definitely cleaned up their Mage Lock Druid play.
All right, Blizzo retreating away with that Flying Serpent kick, but Zeepie, he's out midfield. He's got no Death Strike target that far away in the deep end of the pool, gripping Swapsy back. No stun, unfortunately. Now Swapsy is just happy to cleave them down, standing in their face with a double Cataclysm. Looney just trying to sustain his mana as long as possible for a bursty kill later on. Method Black have control.
Yeah, they definitely do. Wildcard Gaming, they are struggling in this match so far to find damage, but you can kind of tell they're wanting to play for a little bit later of a game, just conservative goes, gripping into target, getting them into stuns, trying to get out that consistent damage, looking for a bursty one-shot, but it's unlikely that really happens until later on in dampening. I think they really want to exploit the fact that Swapsy on that Destruction Warlock becomes super vulnerable as healing gets limited the longer the game goes. And for Wildcard Gaming, I mean, with so much on the line, you really can't blame them for going for a strategy like this.
Both of these Druids, Looney and Chaz, are going to be going after each other throughout the match, looking to deny drink. Swapsy with a Demonic Gateway aggressively. Looney immediately sees that and repositions away from it, and it looks like a game of keep away. Wildcard Gaming at all costs want to just stay as far away from Method Black as possible and go for these Death Grips, stun, burst opportunities, and try and find a kill with it. It's a solid strategy, but I'm not sold on it actually paying off for them. They're just doing their best in a matchup that is so challenging.
Yeah, Looney still taking some damage. Right now, Swapsy pushing in, Raikou as well.
Oh, no.
Triple Infernals drop out. Can they find any follow-up crowd control? Looney on the run, Kleptomania Spellsteal coming in from Raikou. Nicely done. Method Black, I haven't really seen them play Mage Lock Druid this aggressively before. This is definitely interesting.
All right, let's see if they can keep it up. At any moment, Blizzo could turn it up with that touch of death if Method Black overextend and make a mistake. Looney still retreating away, and Chess continues to chase him. Blizzo trying to recover with Zeepie, gripping Raikou over. No stun. He blinks to safety. Perhaps a bit of a misplay there between Zeepie and Blizzo. Now, getting Ray of Frosted, tons of damage. Zeepie going to Death Strike the Water Elemental. We would like to see Raikou reposition that Water Elemental into a place where it cannot be Death Striked or taken down. It's just too much added benefit to the team of Zeepie and Blizzo. Looney still on the run. I'm wondering if Method Black are trying to kill Looney. All three members are just formulating a plan here. Mortal Coil, do they have the bash? They do. They're going for it. How's Looney going to respond? Barkskin looks like it's going to be enough due to the fact that Blizzo stopped Raikou, Zeepie stopped Swapsy. Great teamwork by Wildcard Gaming to deny that attempt on Looney's life.
Yeah, I want to see them get more crowd control on Blizzo when they go for those attempts, because Blizzo, he managed to find the Expel Harms as well as the Paralysis on a Raikou, really shutting down that attempt. And now Method Black, they're still finding the damage. And I feel like if Zeepie, Blizzo, and Looney, they're just running and hiding the entire game, they're going to get caught in this situation where they're all rotting down from the Blizzard as well. As the Frozen Orb that Raikou has available, that damage starts really adding up later in the game.
All right, Looney's still on the run, but he's maintained his mana at least. Now a minute 20 into dampening. It could be an opportunity for Wildcard Gaming to strike. They're going to have to be careful, though. Both Swapsy and Raikou are such a threat. They really can't afford to leave either one of them open, but they have to if they want to commit for a kill. Chaz is still just attacked. I feel like Looney and Chaz have done more damage to each other in this match than anyone else has to the opposing team. Another aggressive demonic gateway from Swapsy. Looney repositions, but he's still in line of sight. One Chaos Bolt going to connect onto Looney, choosing not to Barkskin. Managing to escape, but barely. Chaz is still chasing him down. Blizzo tries to roll over to support. Looney gonna Iron Bark, but maybe it wasn't necessary. Chaz scaring Looney a little bit there.
Yeah, I mean, these setups are really scary. He gets caught into a stun, a Chaos Bolt's flying at you. You can't really blame him for panicking a little bit in that situation. It looks like he is going to be able to reset, get into stealth. Swapsy gets him out. But for the time being, it seems like Looney's going to be completely fine. Method Black eventually might switch their target. They are going after Blizzo. Big damage coming in from Swapsy and Raikou. Blizzo can't disrespect this. He uses the Fortifying Brew. Double Shadowveer coming in. Looney in a prime position to keep his team alive, but still Blizzo really struggling. Finally getting a big heal.
All right, Raikou the target here as we see Cinder Ghost entering the fray. Zeepai trying to amplify his damage. Raikou times the temporal to soak all of it, healing it back at full. And now Icy Veins is popped. Wildcard Gaming need to retreat away from this, but they're snared up. They're not escaping too easily. Chaos Bolts are flying through as well. Chaz is all over them, adding some extra stuns and damage as well. Swapsy wrapping around the left side. Raikou going over and above, trying to go after Zeepai. Now the Death Knight will become the main focus target as dampening gets higher, as that will reduce the healing of Zeepai's most important ability, Death Strike. So all of the pressure, all the eyes will be on Zeepai. Can he stay alive?
Yeah, Looney's still running. Chaz all over him. Can they find the stun? Manages to get behind the pillar once again. And it just seems like this is the strategy Method Black wants to go with. They want to go after Looney. They did manage to get his trinket. One more setup. Infernal's coming up in around a minute for Swapsy. Double stun finally coming in from Zeepai and Blizzo as they're looking to get aggressive onto Swapsy at 20% dampening. They may have found their mark. Big damage. Spear Hand Strike does interrupt Swapsy, but he still has that unending resolve. Chaz with Iron Bark rotating back up. Swapsy should be able to stay alive, but that was a really nice push by Wildcard Gaming.
I just want to say, if Swapsy's interrupted and can't unending resolve, he's 5% health. It's the BlizzCon title on the line in that situation. That was, he narrowly escaped that. Method Black cannot afford to lose. Chaz drinks to full mana. Great awareness there on his part, realizing that this is a matchup that does go on for some time, but now Touch of Death is ticking. Blizzo's damage is going to be absolutely insane. Will Method Black have enough defense to answer it? Touch of Death explodes. Big hit. Swapsy, he's going to pop Dark Soul and try and counter-aggress. A risky decision here, deep into dampening.
Yeah, but Blizzo, he has the Touch of Karma. He should be able to hold on just a little bit longer. Swapsy, that was a really intelligent decision. He didn't panic in that situation, just relied on the Iron Bark to deny the Touch of Death. Held on to his unending resolve and now has an opportunity with that defensive cooldown to push in and get a little bit aggressive. Looney now caught into a bash. Once again, Method Black really trying to punish this healer. Looney, how is he going to respond? He's trying to get out of line of sight. I think he's going to be able to do it, but that was the Barkskin. And now there's no Barkskin, there's no Trinket, and the Infernals are available for Swapsy. Method Black has this game set up perfectly.
Yeah, they've got Wildcard Gaming in checkmate at this point. And I think we're going to a game number 7 unless they can pull off a miracle. An interrupt on Swapsy, preventing unending resolve, I think is the only way that I see that. And Swapsy is the one who is in control of that situation. He's the one who needs to make the mistake, which means Method Black have all of the control here in game number 6. 10 minutes elapsing at this point in time. Blizzo trying to line of sight, but dipping even lower. Raikou blinks in to try and finish him. Not able to find it. Looney now stunning Raikou. He's overextended. Wildcard Gaming push, trying to get an ice block from Raikou. They are just unable to. They don't have enough damage to even dent him. Mana is even, I believe, at this point as Looney comes out of cat form. His team so evenly matched in the BlizzCon finals.
At 33% dampening, though, things are going to start spiraling out of control for both of these teams. Who's going to make mistakes? Swapsy, 60% health right now. Blizzo, Zeepai could be in a little bit of trouble as well. A big Chaos Bolt lands on Blizzo. Fortifying Brew denies a little bit of that damage, but now he's pushing forward. He wants to take down Swapsy. Iron Bark from Chaz might be able to keep him alive, but Blizzo is also in some trouble, Sid.
Yeah, Looney doing his best to have mana deep into dampening for a kill on the Warlock, but he's spell-locked. Swapsy with the hard carry. Looney can't heal for a couple seconds. Blizzo very low on health. He has cooldowns to trade, but he doesn't want to. This is a greedy decision at 36% dampening in the BlizzCon finals, but he gets away with it and he stays alive. Chaz has been hunting Looney this entire game in cap form, really being a menace and quite an annoyance, honestly, for Looney. If he can keep this up, Chaz could certainly close it out, bring it to a game 7. Double stun. Good opportunity for Wildcard Gaming if there ever was one. Cleaving down both Chaz and Swapsy. Swapsy gateway into safety. Chaz repositioning away as well. Now Zeepie, I think he's a liability this deep into dampening.
Oh, he definitely is. The anti-magic shell trace, but now he doesn't have that available. And at this point in the game, if Wildcard Gaming, they're just running, they're just hiding, they're not doing damage, and Method Black can walk all over Wildcard Gaming, staying in this tournament. BlizzCon dreams on the line. Zeepie hovering around 50% health. How is he going to find an opportunity to push forward and actually get some damage rolling? He's just so low on health. Looney's struggling to keep him alive. The anti-magic zone buys him a few more seconds, but I feel like their time is running out.
All right, Zeepie on the run, but there's a Warlock on one side and there's a Mage on the other. That's not a good choice to make in this position in game number 6. Will he be able to do it? Can they pull off the miracle? Method Black have all defensives available. Basically full mana, I believe, on Chaz as well. They're in a great position to close this game out. Swapsy relaying the gateway. Looney, though, does manage to drink himself, pulling his team back into the fight.
That's huge for Looney and Wildcard Gaming. 100% mana. Now a big lead for the first time in this game, but he needs to use all of that mana to keep Zeepie alive. Zeepie and Blizzo, they need to find damage on someone. Raikou and Swapsy have been healthy for so long in this match. We are at 46% dampening. At some point, if they make an offensive push with that touch of death, they might be able to take Swapsy down, but he has all his defensive cooldowns to answer, and here it is. Wildcard Gaming looking to make a push, but not really committing too much just yet.
Mortal Coil, Chaos Bolt from Swapsy. That is a beefy one. Zeepie trying to recover with the Iron Bark active, and he will be able to. Now Chaos Bolt casted onto Blizzo. Swapsy switching his attention to him for a moment, trying to capitalize on that lack of defense. Blizzo may need to make a vital trade on Touch of Karma here shortly. Looney gets jumped on by Chaz. Hibernate Poly combo. Beautiful teamwork. And Swapsy's backing it up with the damage. Blizzo is pushing forward. Once again pushing forward. Even on the Windwalker Monk. Despite Swapsy's most powerful cooldown being active, Blizzo pushes for the win.
They're using everything to take Swapsy down. Can they do it? He has the unending resolve. Zeepie's low. Blizzo as well. There's no more defensive cooldowns. Raikou realizing Wildcard Gaming, they only have one opportunity to win the game right here, right now. And now it's Zeepie on the back foot, running once again with that anti-magic shell, but it's just so difficult at 53% dampening for Looney to really keep him alive. Raikou pushes forward. Does he have the damage to take him down? Blizzo in desperation throwing in the Vivifies, but that Shadow Fury from Swapsy might be enough to close out the game. Zeepie barely holds on.
They're using everything that they've got to stay alive, but even everything at 55% dampening will not be enough. I think we're going to a game number 6 despite Zeepie's best efforts. Chaz jumps in once again to finish the job. Raikou gates over to the side, and Zeepie is going to get killed by Chaz in the near future. Chaz just needs to move in and finish this. Anti-Magic Zone denies the kill for a few more moments, but Looney is interrupted, and Swapsy's power play is looking likely to close it out. Zeepie is going to fall, and we are going all the way to number 7.
I don't think that there was any doubt that these two teams would trade blows and that we would make it all of the way to the last possible game. But you have to think, Method Black, a team that has been able to win countless cups, accumulate countless points, now just one game away from breaking whatever curse you want to make up, whatever you want to call it. One game away. One more victory for a team that has had so many throughout the year. Just one more game, and they're BlizzCon champions.
Absolutely crazy. Of course, it's going to come down to a game 7 between these two guys, and you know, this was just methodical Mage Lock Druid. Both teams, they stay back. Method Black, they use the triangle formation where they put one caster on one side, they put the healer in the back, and then they put the other caster on the other side. And eventually, they just play that slow game where they choke out the opponent. They play it out expertly. Swapsy looked great on that Warlock. He landed so many interrupts, and he didn't get caught out in bad positions. He kept relaying his gateway, and this is kind of giving me flashbacks to the summer finals of last year, which was another international event where both of these teams essentially made it to the finals, and they made it the best game 7 as well, where Method Black did come out ahead. So we'll see if history can kind of repeat itself now on the BlizzCon stage, because this is going to be it. One more game to do it. They're going to become BlizzCon champion. One of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, you go back to that land, and it's funny because I feel like We haven't really, as a group, spoken about that land in such a long time today. I feel like we've brought it up 30 times, mostly because we actually do see this as the grand final. And you look back, there are some differences in the roster, right? I think the biggest one that pops into my mind right now is, of course, the fact that Walrix is on the team instead of Morrow for Wildcard Gaming. The meta, obviously, is vastly different as well. But when you do look at these two teams, Method finally being able to take it, it feels like that feeling that Wildcard Gaming has just had for so long, where you look at them, you expect them to potentially be the best team throughout the year, but they're always stuck in the shadow of Method Black. Method Black just coming out and winning so much throughout the year that they're going to get the spotlight. They're going to be the team that we talk about as the #1 squad. And if Wildcard Gaming can do this here, I think you can wash a large part of that away.
Which curse is greater, Wildcard Gaming's inability to defeat Method Black or Method Black's inability to close out the final match? Both of these teams have gotten one game away from taking a championship in the past, and now they go head-to-head.
I'm just thinking, what would be a fitting final match?
Oh, please.
Oh, please.
Oh, please.
I'm just saying.
We got to do it. They got to do it.
It's a small
It's not
map.
going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen, but I can get
It's
excited.
probably going to be Black or Cold or
Yes.
something. But
You never know.
I'd love that.
I think it's very likely that we do it. Oh, to Ruins of Lordaeron. It's going to be an interesting map. I think it's likely we do see the Rogue Mage Druid versus the Warrior Fire Mage Mistweaver Monk, and I think this is going to be an excellent game.
Ruins of Lordaeron is going to be the place that this is settled. We are one map away from having our champion of BlizzCon 2019. It's either going to be Method Black or Wildcard Gaming, two vastly different teams throughout the year, not only in how they've approached the game, but also in just the success that they have found. Wildcard Gaming has definitely been speeding up throughout the year, but they've never had the meta go their way. Method Black has just been a powerhouse team that struggled at these lands.
Predictions.
Yeah,
I think it's time.
You predicted me, which that's about the only prediction I'm going to have. You managed to read me, Zico. I'm going to ask you right now, who do you think is going to be able to take this on Ruins of Lordaeron?
Can I wait until I see the comps?
No.
We got to do it blind.
Yeah, I was going to let you wait. Oh,
But you could cheat. You could cheat.
Production. What?
Production bails us out.
I'm giving this one to Wildcard.
You think Wildcard's going to be able to take it, Sid? How about you?
I'm going with Wildcard. I'm risking it. I'm risking it.
I'm going with my heart.
Ben, I feel like you were one of the guys who really broke it down from the very beginning, talking about this final advantage that you can have on the last map based off of the momentum. They bring it to a small map. Are you with Wildcard as well?
I feel like Wildcard Gaming winning that game #1 was just so important for them. Finally, like you said, bringing it to a small map with these two compositions. I have to favor Wildcard Gaming, but at the same time, I mean, Method Black, they're such a strong team. They've been proving it all year long. Like, it really could go either way.
Now, I don't ever make predictions. I don't do that. But I feel like there is a group of people that might disagree with you right now. Just from gauging what I've heard from the audience so far, who here thinks that Method Black is going to be able to win BlizzCon 2019? They've had the crowd behind them the whole time. They definitely have. But before we get this one started, I really just need to think about everything that both of these teams have accomplished. I do not think we can have two more deserving teams in this grand final. And Sid,
we made it all the way. It's Game 7. It's Ruins of Lordaeron, and it would be a fitting final resting place for 2019. Only one team can take it. Who's going to do it? Blizzo has played out of his mind. He has earned this. He has done everything possible. He's predicted the future. He's come back in a time machine to read every single situation. He just has to do it one more time.
Yeah, there will be a sap over on the Looney right away. Method Black looking to get aggressive. Are they going to go after Blizzo? That's what they've been doing so far when these two compositions have been going head-to-head. We'll have to see, though. For Wildcard Gaming, it's going to be all about aggression onto Raikou, getting the crowd control onto Chaz and trying to get that damage rolling.
All right, Chaz is crowd controlled. Waz is as well. Raikou is isolated for quite some time, but doing a great job to avoid all of the damage. He didn't take any throughout the first assault.